Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laureli Shimayo, and this is MeWe Fairs for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest, many online. Today's our online awakening panel. Our awakening panels have themes, and today we have a new theme that we've not done before. It's breaking free from religious trauma. There are 7 practitioners planned to be on the panel today, many of whom have personal experience, lots of work with clients. All the tools that are useful for this are important in all of their work. Just excited to talk about this and to explore what impacts so many people. It's free to be here to listen and learn, and it's a small price to ask a question of the panel. Just being here, you might want to get something to take notes with, draw with, because it's a great opportunity to practice opening to your intuition, being here. That's something you'd like to do, to see if what comes through you is similar to how people on the panel respond as people ask questions. We're going to have the practitioners that are here. I think 5 of the 7 are here at the moment. We're going to have them share about themselves and their work, and maybe if you can, if this is easy enough, let's just share generally about yourselves first, and then let's come through and talk about the theme so that people just get an idea of who you are and the range of all the things that you do. And the theme is just going to be so rich. We might spend a bit of time just talking about the theme today. So if you can, just introduce you and all that you do, and then people will get the context of why all these things that you bring are so great for the theme as you share about the theme. Yeah, so we'll have you all introduce yourselves. We'll talk about the theme, and then we'll take questions from the audience. They can be, and it's ideal if there's specific personal questions that you would ask sitting in a private session with someone, knowing that this is in a group and that this is recorded and will get posted online. It's a great opportunity for you to get feedback from probably all the practitioners on the panel, and also to be of service to others in asking the question. And we know that that's it's a little bit of an ask to share all of it in person too, or share of it in public too. Yeah, I think that's all we need to do to get started, and then I'll do a little bit to set the container before we take questions. And you can ask a question on about anything on this panel. It does not have to be about the theme. So you might want to just think about what you might ask as you hear everyone introduce themselves. Maybe I'll go ahead and spotlight everybody just to get that going first. And then we'll probably have, I think we started. Where am I? Spotlight. Okay, clicking the wrong. Oh, something's going weird with my spotlight. What did I do? There we go. Okay, I think let's have Angie go first, because the theme of this panel came from a conversation with Angie, and then let's have Tammy share next. All right, but again, you're just sharing about yourselves. I'm just setting you up for when you share about the theme afterwards. So yeah, just share about you.
Okay.
All right, and you got like 2-ish minutes. Take your time and tell us about you.
I am Angie, and I am from Universal Restorative Energy, and I'm an intuitive psychic and an adept empath. I am very passionate about teaching the art of manifestation and the actual mechanisms that you have to co-create with the universe. And doing this, it sometimes takes shadow work and releasing that trauma. And as an intuitive psychic, I have that ability to get straight to the source and to show you how to build yourself back up with the help of the universal energy. I will help you become self-aware so that you can manifest intentionally through the universal laws of vibration and energy. I'm very excited that you are all here. Thank you. Oh, www.universalenergy.com is my website where you can see me today. And I have a special $45 for 30 minutes of intuitive psychic reading. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Angie. Tammy.
Hey, I'm Tammy, and I'm a spiritual teacher, mentor, and intuitive healer. I'm on a mission to help people to connect to their soul, to help them to heal, to become the limitless version of themselves. Because so many times we go through life and we just go through life and we're not happy, we're stressed, and we carry all this stuff with us. And many times we carry it in our DNA. And a lot of times we don't even realize where it has come from, whether it's come from, the past lives, our past life, our family line, our bloodline, all of that stuff. And so I'm on a mission to help people with that, simply because I've done that work. And so I feel uniquely called to help people do that, just to basically embrace all of them, their gifts, themselves, who they are, and actually really begin to heal from the traumas and the transitions that life has thrown at us. I have a special as well. It's posted and you can Google me. So you can find me everywhere. You can Google Tammy Morrison and you'll see me everywhere. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Tammy. I think DoveLight, if you could go next, that would be great. And then we'll have TJ and Brooke.
Hello, everybody, hello. Happy holidays for those who celebrate. My name is Dove. I'm from DoveLightOracle.com. Today I'm offering a discount, a coupon discount called Spring for 20% off any session of choice at DoveLightOracle.com. I'm just a regular person. Sometimes I cry, sometimes I laugh, sometimes I feel good, sometimes I get sick, just like everybody else. And like everybody else with a soul and a path and a journey, I have to kill myself in certain areas when I wasn't aware. And I met many of my teachers who taught me compassion. I'm also from Peru with indigenous background of Amazonian and India. And I was always an intuitive person, but my journey was that I was not able to see that on myself. And through seeing it myself, I was able to open up. And through that, I can do readings because I'm very intuitive. I do it through a soul frequency. I use tarot and angelic oracle. I can also read the elements, air, water, fire, rocks, crystals, the smoke. I do shamanic practices, past life regression, ancestral healing, psychopomp, and inspired by the concept that we have of Aini, which is sacred reciprocity. I'm going to start offering Maya birth chart readings from the ancient culture of the Mayan, but I'm doing it as a translator. So I'm just going to give back their voice to the indigenous people where the culture and the medicine belongs to, which I'm very excited because one of my elders has been like a mother to me for more than 15 years. And how can I help you? Well, through my sessions, we can tap into your energy field. If we can see what is it that you need healing from, and we can see if it comes from an ancestral, it's coming from your past life, if something from this lifetime, from their subconscious, if perhaps it's an energy or soul and an imprint, we can work on that. Any type of healing doesn't guarantee you at all that your life is going to be perfect and blissful and happy or good luck, how they call it. But it will guarantee you that you will be more within yourself, in tune with yourself, with your soul. So when the light and the dark, when the night and the day of life comes, you are more able to be connected to the divine, to that love, the love you no matter what. And that's one of the greatest healing lessons that I learned from my elders. Yeah. We all always are work in progress. We never finish learning. And I'm just very grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DoveLight. I think TJ's next and then Brooke.
Hi, I'm Tammy Joyful, and I'm a conduit for Divine Source Energy. And this is Daisy. She's joining us today. She wants to make her presence known. I'm an animal communicator. I love to give a voice to the animals and to help people understand how wise they really are. And also to help people overcome any obstacles or within a household and help to draw the communication between the animals and the people to make a more harmonious environment in the house. I also communicate with those in the unseen realms, departed loved ones, spirit guides, cosmic beings. I do healing sessions for life transformation, multidimensionally, where I help clear destructive energy, define. Sometimes it needs to be defined where it comes from, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it can just be cleared without looking into the details. Sometimes it's good to pinpoint specifically where it's come from in my experience. To help. And what I like to do is to help people be more able to heal themselves and further transform their own lives. I want to empower them to live a beautiful life, and to be able to continue on and continue to to transform and find those patterns within themselves and traumas and things. We look into those together, and I also like to empower people to find them themselves too. I like to teach, and I like to teach animal communication, and I like to teach just playing in the unseen realms. It's just a beautiful place to be, well grounded while being well grounded on this earth plane. And I'm always growing and expanding, as I hope you guys are. My website is tammyjoyful.com. I am Tammy Joyful on social media. I am offering a session discount of $66 for 1 hour. And I'm very grateful to be here also, and with everyone here. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And Brooke.
Good evening and welcome everyone. My name is Brooke Bucci, and I'm with, or my business name is Journey with Brooke. You can find my website at journeywithbrooke.com. I am a intuitive guide, a multidimensional energy healer. The essence of my work, the mission I have for this lifetime is to resurrect the divine feminine in balance with the divine masculine, back into balance with the divine masculine as we evolve into unity consciousness. I come to this work after being in healthcare for the last 25 years or so, the last 12 of them as a certified nurse midwife, and I've been with thousands of families as they've welcomed their babies. And a few years back, I was feeling birth is a spiritual experience for me, but it was not something that I could talk with my patients and clients about. We did not explore the spiritual side, and I felt very much the urge to expand my work. And now for the last 3 years, I've been doing this energy work. And so I bring that same energy with me. I very much understand intimately the concepts of birth, life, death, rebirth. And my goal in my healing work is to assist people in those great transitions of life. And right now, so many of us are experiencing awakening, rebirthing ourselves. And so my goal is to assist people in that process. I very much assist those or all of us to help unveil the illusion around that we've layered on top of our true nature, which is that we are an extension of source energy and we are divine beings, and helping people come back into that understanding and knowing. I offer things like sacred womb healing and emotion code and intuitive readings with energy healing are the things that I do. And tonight I have a special for 20% off on your first session if you book by April 30th. So I look forward to talking with everybody tonight. Thanks.
All right, great. Let's see. And we're going to be joined a little bit late by a new practitioner. It is Evangelia Vensel, who does energy psychology, subconscious reprogramming, trauma release, kinesiology, energy healing, intuitive guidance, and non-toxic beauty. And I'm still hoping that we'll get joined by another first-time practitioner with us, Maytrelli Diaz, who does Mayan astrology, intuitive healing, and holistic wellness coaching. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. I read your eyes, read your soul, and answer questions about your soul, your purpose, your lessons, and all kinds of relevant topics in your life and work and relationships. And in my body psychology work, I am noticing subtle details in your body and your movement, in your facial expressions and gestures, even, well, just so many different things. I believe that our body is giving us messages all the time where we have the opportunity to listen. We also can use our body as a resource to shift and move when we're stuck. Again, it's really listening, learning to listen and respond to our body. And there are specific tools that I've learned. And then it's great also for reading body language in other people and supporting them in their own growth and connecting with them in any way that we want to connect with them. All right, and there's let's see, a question in the channel. A definition of energy. Oh, this is great. Definition of energy. I immediately think about physics, of right, mass and energy and everything being like everything being all these different things. We talk about energy in so many different ways in the community. Oh goodness. Maybe I'd say in some ways energy is my non-physical sense of things, non-physical experience of all kinds of things, right? A particle and a wave, I guess, is what I'm thinking about in terms of mass and energy. Yeah. Well, practitioners, do you want to say anything else about energy in general first before we start talking about the theme?
Yeah, energy is everything. It's strength, it's vitality, it's power, it's all of those things.
Yeah, we talk about energy healing or energy alignment or chakra alignment. Like all these things are, I mean, our beings are right. Our soul, in a sense, is energy, and then physically, our body is all energy transformation, right? To all different kinds of states.
I think energy is the unseen, it's the polarity the universe is using to make us move, to make us manifest and create. And the things we can't see, the vibration that we're sending off with our chakras and the sound and the movement and the colors, and that is all energy, but we can't physically see it, we can only feel it. So that's mine.
I would like to say, well, that's such a big word for a lot of things, but energy to me, it's like the life force. It's the life force, it's that intelligence that is moving towards everything. You know, it's amazing. It's because even your hand, it's very solid. It has the molecules, the protons, the atoms, everything. It's energy. It's just it's going to a different speed. So energy healing, as we know, the non-physical, it's just energy, but it's going to a different speed than the energy that we need for the physical, which is going to a denser field. But when we're talking about energy, we're talking about that intelligence is forming and within the all that there is. To me, at least, I understand it like that.
And maybe another experience of energy that's common in that kind of the everyday Muggle world. When you're at a meeting and someone says something awkward, you know how all of a sudden it seems like the room is not only silent, but it's as if there's no movement, no one's breathing. It's as if the air is really dry. If there's some life that's not in the air in that moment. There's a life energy, I'll call it, that's not flowing through us all. I think that just about everyone picks that up. We don't know what it is. That there's something that shifts and changes, so the energy shifts and changes. If you walk into a space with a group of people and something feels weird and you don't know what it is, you're picking up some form of energy. It might be differences in breathing or differences in sound, something in the way people are looking at each other and the intensity of that. Like all those things are energy. And while physics picks up all kinds of things about energy, there's a lot that we talk about in this context in metaphysics and wellness that physics doesn't always pick up on yet, doesn't know how to yet. So yeah, all kinds of subtle things and all sorts of things that are not subtle. And I think the question is primarily asking about the subtle things. Hey, there's one other thing someone has asked about my background. I'll share too before we start talking about the theme. How did I get called to learn about eye reading? How did I start eye reading? I've been interested in psychology my whole life. My family was pretty messy, and mental health psychology kind of in that context, very complex and traumatic for me and for others in my family. So I spent my life basically doing psychological care of my mother, coaching care of my mother, not knowing. And my grandmother was a very, very strong influence. She helped raise me until I was around 11. And she really loved genetics and evolution. So I studied genetics and evolution in the beginning, as did my brother. But my love really was psychology and people. And so finally in my 30s, I was thinking about going back to grad school in psychology. And instead, I happened to found a teacher that did a version of the eye reading work and studied with them and studied with somatic psychotherapists. And so I spent my whole life reading bodies of people in my family so that I avoided trauma. And now I've learned to do it professionally as a way of supporting people to be true to themselves and to grow. So that's how I got started doing my readings. All right. And I'll start off the panel by saying too, that part of why I don't like have myself on the panel in the same way is I was raised as an atheist. So I have the trauma of not being part of religion and feeling like an outsider and feeling like I didn't belong. However, I'm so grateful that I was raised in that context, as we'll hear from the context of today of so much trauma that so many people have experienced from being in the context of religion. All right, well, let's go in the same order as before. Oh, and just practitioners, anyone else want to say anything about your backgrounds first before we start leaping into this theme? All right, I think everyone's ready for the theme. All right, so we're going to have Angie and then Tammy. So go ahead, Angie.
Okay, so this one is a big one for me too, for all of us, but I was raised a very strict Christian, in like a Bible study that was very cultish. I mean, you couldn't swear, you couldn't listen to rock music. It would all send me straight to hell. So I left it. And then I came back later as an adult because I felt like I needed to be forgiven for things that I had done. But there was always something in me that felt like it was wrong for me to bow down and to surrender. There was always something in my spirit that was telling me, like, why am I having to do this? This doesn't feel right. But you ask questions and they're like, that's what we do. And so I also never felt it was right that I was constantly being judged. And the Bible was so conflicting to me and nonsensically explained away by pastors. It just didn't resonate with me very well. And I do know that I felt a very strong, unexplained energy in church or when I was praying or when I was worshiping that I perceived as love, as God, as the father figure watching over me. And I felt I needed this guidance, which really worked for me until I became self-aware. And I started to take complete accountability for all of my actions and who I am. And I realized that I was never unclean and I did not need to ask a father figure for forgiveness. I finally understood that life is not happening to me, but it is responding to me. And I don't have to leave it up to chance and let an outside source protect me. Like I now understand that overwhelming love I was feeling was me, for myself, for humanity, for Earth, for the love of people, animals, everything around me. That was the love I was feeling. And I don't have to go outside of myself to ask forgiveness or to become self-aware. I now understand that I have real intentional power, that I am the creator of my reality, a deliberate creator of my experience here on Earth. And I want to help as many people understand and begin to intentionally create as well. So I'm very glad you are all here today. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Angie. Tammy.
All right. Yeah, that's Angie and I have talked about this, and that's very similar. My story is my grandmother was a pastor, and before she became a pastor, she was a missionary mother at the church that we started out at. And it was the highest level that she could get to as a woman, because, in that church, they believe that women should be seen and not heard, and so they could barely, they could just get in the pulpit, like to introduce somebody or introduce a whatever, or say a scripture or something like that. But so she determined that she was called to be a pastor. And so she started her own church. And this was in the 70s. So when I think back, it's like, wow, she was amazing. This was the 70s. She was a Black woman and she started her own church. And so we were spoon-fed the Bible, because she was like, I call her a pastor extraordinaire, because she was like an evangelist. She was a spiritual teacher. She was, a healer, all of those things. And as she started going through, because I lived with her for a while, and so that's why I got a chance to see all of this stuff that she did. You know, like she would go to do healing services in little churches, and I would go with her. And so from the time I was about 3 years old, I was laying hands on people. So I knew that I was a healer from way back then, because she would call me up and she would say, lay hands on this person and pray. And so I would lay hands on them and pray, and they would be healed. And so I knew this. And then as she got older, and she started kind of pivoting. She started following like Abraham Hicks and, you know, Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay and all of these people. She actually bought us this book. She bought all of us this book, You Can Heal Your Life, Louise Hay. So you know, so I kind of started following that and doing that as well. But then she passed away. So I also did the same thing that Angie did. I kind of was like, okay, I'm not doing the church thing, whatever. But then when I had my kids and stuff, I brought them back into the church because I said, okay, they need, you know, some guidance and all that kind of stuff. And so we did. And so I did that. And then I got to a place where I was like, I can't, you know, things that were happening. I was like, I can't do this. I started getting divorced, and my church basically turned on me. And I was like, this is not how this is supposed to be. You know, I thought that God was love. And I thought that you people in this church that we have been going to for probably about 8 years, I pretty much raised my kids there, and they did, you know, they did their things too. And they also did like, you know, my children both were musical. So they did singing on the praise team, and my son did rapping. So they had a rap team and stuff like that. So they participated as well. And it was wild because when I started seeing that, it was like, okay, something is not right. But my thing was, I love God, and I always have, you know, and so that's something that I was not wanting to throw away. You know, like people always say, don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. And so that was something that was like, okay, no, I'm not throwing away God, but I'm not doing religion. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm not going, you know, to those places and any of that. Anyway, fast forward, long story long, I went to visit this church, and I met my husband. And it was the wildest thing because we were both visiting, you know, like I was visiting, he was visiting. And the type of church that it was, if I had known the type of church it was, I probably wouldn't have visited, because it was one of those that they're very, very, very hardcore, rigid religion. You know, you got to wear the things on your head, and, you know, the dresses down to your ankles and all this kind of stuff that, you know, God don't care about. And so I was like, okay. And so I think about it now, it's like, okay, that was definitely divinely guided for me to have been at that church to meet that man, you know. So I'm like, okay, all right. But I can go forward and I can see, you know, how big God is, instead of how they tried to keep us so in a box in religion, you know, and so much manipulation and so much brainwashing. And so that was a part of the things that I started seeing that I knew that wasn't anything that I wanted to be involved with. So anyway, that's my journey with this topic.
Well, part of your journey with this topic. All right. More and more
Yeah.
journey that we've all been on, right? With this
Yeah.
topic. As y'all start to share too, yeah, I think about, oh yeah, I have like that thing. Oh yeah, I have that thing and that thing. All right. We've got DoveLight next, and then TJ, and then Brooke. DoveLight.
Thank you, everybody who is here or who will listen to the recording. Please remember that this is our personal experience with faith, religion, or our belief. It's not to attack or to think that one is better than the other. It's just our life experiences, because we honor and respect all of it, whatever you believe. As we have passed through a journey where we have to honor and respect what we genuinely believed. So thank you for that. Oh my goodness. My God, we came from a shamanic lineage, spiritual lineage from the Indians and the Amazons, but through the conquistadors and the people coming from Spain, it was all the discrimination, all the killings, all the abuse, all the rape that we passed. It was safer to go to church. So in the culture, it became like well accepted to become, in this case, Christian or Catholic, because it was safer. It is not that we wanted to do so, but if we will not, you get killed, you get robbed, don't get a job, no nothing. And even though in my family, now going back a little bit more to the present, in my family, our spiritual gifts were very open, but we still have to deal with the challenges of society and surviving. So I was blessed to be in a Catholic school when they allow us to do still every year our indigenous native dances who have a meaning to connection to the earth and the sun. But there was this feeling of always shame and guilt around people that they will say you're like doing things for the devil, or that's wrong, that's sin. And at that time I was very young and my world was too small to ask to have guidance. So at the first, when I was at 10 years, and like many spiritual people, many of you too has a very challenging childhood. I mean, not everybody, but some of us have that lessons in our path. I had this strong calling, and I found in a market tarot cards when I was, I think, 10. And that's the second time that it came to me. When I was in second grade, I took the casino, the regular joker, and I pretend I was reading to people, and I read my whole class without me knowing. But when I was 10, I remember I actually found tarot cards in a market, and I felt like, how is the strong light in the tunnel that guide me to it? And I didn't know anything about it at that time. I didn't know about our ancestors. They used to work with those type of things too. But there were so many things that were happening at home. They make me question, is this from good, or am I doing something wrong? And eventually, as a child who was following her calling, has to burn those scars, because that was a point in my life when I actually believed that was wrong and that I was gonna hurt people, or maybe I'm the one bringing the bad luck to the family. And that was like, again, I was guided at my young years by the sense of guilt and blame, not understanding what's going on. At school, in the church, people will talk about God, will talk about this love, but I never felt it. As being still spiritually inclined, it was very easy for me to feel energy, but I never felt this genuine love. I felt like everything was conditioned. You have to do this in order to get that. You have to behave this way in order to get that. You have to follow this and that. So to me, at that time, my heart was closing to the point that I didn't believe in God or in this or whatever. I didn't even believe in angels at that time, because I felt like so many horrible things are happening. And this institution is telling us it's because we are sinners, because we're doing something wrong and we don't deserve nothing. So at that point of my life, I felt like, you know what, if nothing that I'm gonna do is gonna be good enough for whatever God, old guy with a beard over there, then what's the point? I'm just gonna give up. That's it. And moving forward, the story years later on, when I came to this country, I was invited to a church. And I was still in my late teens. So in this church, they were talking about abortion to a lot of teenagers, and they show us the most freaking disgusting videos of abortion that were so explicit. Like, we should not have passed through that. There is ways to tell people or to explain things to youngsters. You don't have to show them the videos and the bloody images and the bloody. It was very traumatic, especially me coming from another country. Like, what? And I felt, and there was like supposed to be a psychic, but they didn't call it psychic, they call it prophet, who touched my heart. And the only thing that she told me was, your heart is of stone, nothing can grow there. And she left me like that. And I'm telling you, I was still in my late teenagers, and I was a very innocent person still. And that left me traumatized, because imagine like somebody just tell you that randomly and then left without telling you why, without guiding you why, without giving you a hope and everything. I'm grateful to the experience now, because now I understand what, as a spiritual person, you should not be doing. You should not be going to youngers telling them that kind of stuff. It's not helping, no guidance. They didn't even ask. I didn't ask for that. And what's that? It's like telling somebody you're wrong, you're bad, and that's it. And so in a way, I'm grateful for the experience and to learn what not to do to others. And it was very traumatic, because it was part of the institution. It was part of the church. It was part of the place where you're supposed to meet God. And sometimes I feel we have this confusion between the physical place where the majority of the community believe in something, with what God really is. And the concept of God and spirituality is way too wide. It's way too wide. We all can experience spirituality in different ways. Now, after that experience, the last thing before I left that place was that they want us to feel the Holy Spirit. So everybody was gonna be touched in the forehead, and you have to throw yourself down, like from your back to the floor, because you feel the Holy Spirit. And everybody was passing through it, and they were touching the forehead, and they were throwing themselves down. I went there thinking, genuinely, in my innocence, I'm going to feel the Holy Spirit. Okay, let me see what is this about. And they keep pressing my forehead, and I didn't feel nothing. And I trust that I was very in tune with energies, with spirits at that time, even though I didn't understand it. And I didn't feel anything. They keep pushing and pushing my forehead. And I'm still like a child, kind of, in my late teens, but I'm still a child, pushing my forehead. And I didn't feel the Holy Spirit, for that was no reason for me to throw myself on the floor. People who are falling on the floor because they feel it. So just for them to leave me alone after like the longest 10 minutes ever, this was not a sign of rebellion at all. I generally didn't feel anything. Why should I pretend I'm feeling something that I'm not? So what I did is I just fell in my knees, like saying, okay, that's it. But I didn't even do the backwards. I just fell on my knees so they could leave me alone. And years later, moving forward, I was in college. I'm trying to make this very short, so I don't take too much time. There was like a Reiki course in La Guardia Community College in Queens. And I was there for, learning English. I didn't know what it was Reiki. I just read that the description said light through your hands. And I thought it was like the anime, Son Goku from Dragon Ball Z and things like that. And what happened when I was the only student who went there, and there was one of my very first elder here in America who holds a Lakota pipe ceremony. And she was Lakota pipes, and she was talking about Christ, but she was also very shamanic. She could talk to spirits. She could see through people. She did a lot of, she was amazing, the most humble, amazing thing. And that opened my eyes because she changed my perception. You can talk to spirit. You can still believe in what you want to believe. There's so many ways to feel connection to God and through love, and through learning more consciously energy healing, because I already have also the gift of healing with my hands since I was younger, but just wasn't aware of to quite a big capability I could do it. But when I felt Reiki for the first time, it opened me up to love, because at that time my heart was so closed, because I just didn't feel real love from any human interaction that I had. And I felt like later on, I was actually able to feel the Holy Spirit, genuinely feel it, like to feel it to the point of a miracle. And it was beautiful. It was not in a church. It was not through somebody randomly. It's not through a community. It was just to connecting, just through being within. And to that day, I feel like there is no word to describe that type of love. There is genuinely an unconditional love. We love you for who you are, as you are, no matter what you think or believe or decide to wear or whatever. And that was kind of like to heal to me the trauma of feeling shame and guilt about the religious background where I was coming from. I hope I didn't make it too long. I was trying to summarize as much as possible. Thank you.
Thanks so much, DoveLight. Yeah, so those of you that just joined, this is our MeWe Awakening panel. The theme today is breaking free from religious trauma. The practitioners have done general introductions, and now they're all introducing themselves and talking about the theme and sharing about how the theme is relevant and why they wanted to be on this panel. So we've heard from Angie and Tammy and DoveLight so far, and we have TJ and Brooke next. And we have another practitioner that will be joining us that will be on soon, and some people leaving, coming back. Yeah, go ahead, TJ.
Tammy Joyful. I guess the biggest thing that started for me was, it always said God is love. Well, to me, I just could never, even as a young kid, all along, I just could not understand how, if God was love, how you could be damned to hell for all eternity for certain things. I just never could figure that out in my brain. It just didn't I couldn't connect those dots ever. And I did grow up in a Christian community. It was a milder one, and then I moved into a more healing churches and things. That's what saved me. I get the things that I liked about it. I liked the community. I liked raising my kids there, and the people around, and the plays, and the community surrounding it was great. I did like that part. The piece that still bothers me is people needing to believe what I believed, at that time, proselytizing and bringing other people in. I just did not ever like that piece. And I was a youth leader for a while, and that I still shaping young minds, I don't like to look back and see, I don't know how to put that, the things that I taught them at that time. Anyway, I just didn't, and then the unworthiness came in, and the judgment and the hypocritical things. When I was a kid too, I wasn't Catholic, but I had some friends that were Catholic, and I could not wrap my head around the fact that they could go out, we could all together go out on Saturday night and do all these things, or Friday night or whatever, and then Saturday they could go to church and just be, all their sins were taken away, or whatever they called it. I can't remember. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't Catholic, so I don't remember all the terminology, but there was just so many things, I think, that, well, others said too, that it was just so contradictory. I didn't ever understand that contradictory part. So what I did, I finally learned to focus, the later years that I was in the church, when my kids were getting older. I focused on the healing team. I was on the healing team, and saw, miracles and things in that aspect. So that was a great aspect too. Although we did do some healing and we didn't tell anybody, it was like still not, I was on the healing team, but it still wasn't okay. Jesus said to, you're going to do even greater things than I did. And I guess I couldn't understand how it's okay, but it's not okay to actually do it. I don't know. It was still that contradictions and things. So I started at work one day, I started just going through the Bible and writing down everything Jesus said, and he just became my best friend, and was for a long time, just that presence. And he does have that beautiful presence, and Jehovah Rophe, the healer. So the conditional love piece always got me too. I just, the divine pure love. So now feeling when that divine pure love, and being judgment free, and we can be who we are, and we can just shine as beings, eternal beings, and we're an immortal souls gifted with this human life. It just, I felt like I stepped out of a box. I felt like I was in this box, and I stepped out of a box to more. And stepped out of the ancestral patterns of somebody else said that too, having to do this and having to do that to get love, and to but God is love, and we are energy, and we are okay. It's okay. I'm me, and I'm okay. We're all okay. I don't I want to honor what everybody believes. Like DoveLight said that too. I do want to honor what everybody else believes. I don't want to have judgment anymore, and I don't. If I do find a piece of judgment, I see where that pattern came from or where it is in my own life. Harmony's chiming in here too, so Harmony is talking a little bit. That's a little bit about my story. So thank you. Glad to be here.
Thanks so much, TJ. Brooke.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brooke, and I was raised in Catholicism. I was the fifth of 5 children, and my parents were tired by the time I came around and had kind of pulled back a little, not going to churches often, but I went to school in a Catholic school. All my brothers did. My oldest brother, unfortunately, is a survivor of a Catholic priest sexual trauma for years, and multiple people in our neighborhood, which eventually, unfortunately, filtered down to me, also being a victim. And so your spiritual leader that you are seeing every day at school and church, is a sexual perpetrator of young people. And so that is how, one way for me, the experience I have had of religious trauma. So it's a little different where I did not grow up fundamental. And those are pieces that I particularly, that trauma piece that I connect in with and assist people with. I do remember from my young childhood, from very young, thinking and saying to my mother, how can all of these religions exist and all think they're right, and the rest of us are going to hell or wherever? And how can that be? That doesn't make any sense. And so for me, that is the biggest trauma on our planet, from organized religion. Is that it is an immediate separation of you are right and you are wrong, and you are worthy and you are unworthy, and a loss of we are all one, we are all connected, we are all equal, we're no better than the other person, we're all just finding the path that makes sense to us, to spirit, to find ourselves, to make sense of this crazy world. And so I believe that's a fundamental trauma that most of us have to address. And whether we've experienced it in religion or not, it pervasively has affected all aspects of our lives, quite often. So the last thing I'll just say is that, and what if in a world that we can bring in children, and families can conceive their children and birth their children into a world where the belief system is we are all connected, we are all one. You are a divine spirit being coming to this earth to have a physical experience. And if we rework it, each of us wake up to the truth of who we are and bring children in this way, which is something I help families with, how much impact we could have on the world. All right, I'm going to stop. You all have heard us go on and on enough, and get to some questions. Or are there some more people? Laureli.
No, thanks so much, Brooke. We've got another practitioner that's on, but we're waiting until she's not in transport before she introduces herself.
I'm here.
Or here, do you want to jump in and share now, or do you want to wait until you're home?
I'm actually home. I just got home.
Oh, you're home. Okay, you are. So can you turn on
Yes,
your video?
yeah, I'm going to turn my
I'll
video.
bring you up on.
This is all new to me, guys.
Yeah, this is the first time on our panel. This is great. Okay.
Okay.
Let's
Hi.
see.
Hey,
Oh, great.
here you are. Hi.
Oh, wait, we
I
can't
was just
see you.
happy to be invited to. Can you see me?
Yeah, we can. And go ahead. So introduce yourself
Can
first.
you guys see me?
Just tell us who you are and what you do in general, and
Okay.
then talk about the theme. So yeah, let's just get to know who you are first. And what you do.
Okay. Hey, I'm Evangelia Vensel. I'm 45 years old. I'm a native of Washington, grew up in Shoreline, I'm 100% Greek. So I grew up in a Greek family. I'm the first generation of my family to be born and raised in America. So there's that trauma. I'm an alternative practitioner, plus I've been a beautician coach for over, so through my own journey of illness and almost dying from it, it transformed my life to a different kind of understanding of why I feel I'm obviously on this panel today, because there was a lot of trauma from the religious side, and the upbringing and the programming and the mindset and the belief system that I was brought up with around, I would call, for me right now, false religion, because I felt it was very divisive. Just like the last lady, just her story, everything she said was exactly how I felt, what it was like for me. I grew up in the Greek Orthodox Church, and they didn't really teach us about connection or how to walk like Christ or how to love one another or really how to connect with God at all. Like it was very cult-like to me. It was very gowns and gold and all this stuff, but I wasn't hearing anything. I wasn't learning anything. So we didn't go home praying. We didn't go home talking about anything. It was my parents worked and provided, and we went to school. And if we stressed my dad or my mom out, then we were always being physically abused. So it was a lot of stress, and that led me down a very broken road of being lost and being with the wrong people and doing the wrong things and not believing in God, because if God was real, and why would he let me go through all these horrific, life experiences? And so I didn't find comfort in the church. I felt judged by the church. And so I didn't want anything to do with the church. It wasn't until I almost took my own life in the end of 2017, that I'd learned about God in rehab in 2008, like how to get spirit back, and that there was a power much greater than me that was going to help guide me to turn to that power and that love, that unconditional love over my own power. And so that was the awakening of spirit to me through rehab and understanding what that was like. And so I continued to journey until I got very sick, and I was debilitated and bedridden for many years, to where I just wanted to die. And there was one night I had it all planned out, and I just said, you know what, I'm done. I'm tapped out. I'm not doing this anymore. This isn't the mother I wanted my kids to have. This isn't the wife I wanted my husband to have. And there is no God, because God wouldn't allow this kind of suffering, or I had done so many horrific things that this is my suffering. This is how this God that I knew was this mean God that was punishing me for all the things I'd done wrong. And I'd given up my life that night and surrendered and said, if you're real, if you are real God, and there's another purpose behind this suffering and this battle that I'm battling, and if there's another version of me, then I'll sacrifice everything. I'll do whatever it takes. I don't want this anymore. And that was a journey to a whole new God and understanding of Jesus and love and healing. Like, all the woo-woo stuff was what healed me. Like, all the things that the church kept me from, that was saying this was evil, or this was demonic, or this was, not of God, and it's not in the Bible. And but I was led by a Christian woman that was banned from her own church for doing, quote, Reiki. But she believed she was working with the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit was coming through, and she was able to facilitate deliverance and like real healing, like just laying hands on people. And a friend of mine was like, you got to go see her. She's not, I know it sounds woo woo, but it's real. And so I went and I interviewed the lady, just to kind of get a feeling, use my discernment. And it was probably one of the most powerful sessions that I'd had of an understanding of I feel like everything, and everything to me was just a lie that the world is living off of. And like, Jesus is like what the last lady said, he's my comfort. He's my best friend. He's taught me that we can do many things. And love like him and walk like him, and to just following his footsteps has allowed me to open my own doors in my own home to take in those that are lost or abandoned, or I've done, addicts and those that just need love, been rejected in the world. So I have a hard time with people coming at me with the things I facilitate with the frequency wand or the frequency machine I use to imprint frequencies for healing, homeopathic water, or, I make beauty products and everything's non-toxic. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, this isn't in the Bible, but I do believe that our bodies are sacred temples. And this is honoring my body by not tainting it with chemicals, and our cells respond to vibration. That's how God created all things. So why wouldn't vibrational tools help heal the very thing we're created out of? So I'm sorry, that's not in the Bible. That's where I go, like, I don't have a problem with the Bible. I don't understand the Bible. I fully am not someone that have fully read it inside and out. What I have read, I do resonate with, but I have a hard time with people that know scripture and know all this stuff and then come over and pray on me and say, I'm coming from a satanic place and I've got entities and I'm a witch. And just trying to find my tribe has been difficult, and finding the women that can understand my language. It's like I get told I'm speaking like an alien, or I'm like, do you know what quantum physics is? Quantum healing. We are all connected. So there's my story, and understanding people with religious trauma and my trauma that was linked to a lot of the false beliefs.
Well,
Thanks for letting me chat.
Thank you so much for sharing, and what a powerful entrance to
Yeah.
the MeWe events. Can you just
Thanks.
tell us your name again? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name right.
Evangelia.
Okay, great.
Vensel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, powerful story. Powerful story.
I think we all have one in us.
We do. It's
I'm
just
gonna mute
some
myself.
practitioners want to respond. It makes me. I want to say just a little bit about some of my history too, and then practitioners. Anything else you want to share about the theme? We in theory have one question in line. I don't know if the person is here yet, and I'll check and see if we have any other questions. 963B for you. Are you here? Because I think you want to ask a question tonight. So let me know in the chat if you're here. So I was raised as an atheist. I was raised into an abusive family. I know my mom and her sister experienced a whole bunch. Oh, my girlfriend decided to get on and come watch. She was in my office for a little while. Let me put my earphones back on too. Yeah, very relevant for so many other people in my life, this theme. So let's see. So my mom and her sister experienced tons of abuse. I don't know exactly what, but I was born into their same home with their same parents. And I believe that I was sexually abused by my uncle, my aunt's husband. And I don't know what other trauma. All right, can you all hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay, great. Yes. I don't know all the trauma that I experienced when I was younger. My great uncle happened to, quote, like, find religion later in life. And so I didn't see him from the time I was a little kid. So I don't quite know what path he took, but I heard that about him later. So yeah, I just feel lots of anger. So I was raised as an atheist, although I realized my mom was actually agnostic. My mom was scared to say God didn't exist in case God did exist. I learned that later after I left home. I was raised, we were talking about cults earlier, and cults came up or almost came up, maybe in Evangelia's theme. We'll probably have another panel where we talk about cults. Okay, great. I know who the question is from. Yeah, so, oh goodness. But yeah, we were talking about cults earlier, and we'll have another panel with a theme, something on cults. And I have another practitioner that I'm going to want to have join, because we had a number of panels on talking about narcissism lately. Someone in the audience who's come to some of those mentioned that in one of the private messages. I think it was. So I was raised by my grandma, in part, for at least my first 11 years, who's also narcissistic. And one of the things that I was raised with from her is a perverted version of the Bible, something from the Bible. I was raised with the golden rule that means treat others the same way they would treat you, instead of what the golden rule actually says. And so her version was, be really mean to someone. If they're going to be mean to you, be mean to them first. So that's how I was raised. Clearly, I'm not that way. So yeah, well, So I was raised with religion, even though I didn't know I was raised with it. I didn't know anything about what God was. I found out a little bit about God when I was first asked, maybe in like first grade or something like that. Someone asked me if I believed in God, and I didn't know what they were talking about. So I went home and asked my mom, and she said, just tell them you're a humanist, you believe in humans. And that's not what a humanist is, but that was my first introduction explicitly that I knew of. So I just remember I couldn't play with some friends on Saturday and I couldn't play with some friends on Sunday. And what I didn't know really is that part of why I couldn't play with some friends is because my household, my family was such a mess. And also because I now know I have autism. And so I was a bit unusual. So between all these things, and, I focused it on religion as being the thing when I was a kid. So I was very anti-religion. My parents' families both had bad experiences where they weren't accepted for various reasons. They married outside of religion and blah, 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 and all this. My dad was raised Jewish and my mom was raised at least my mom's family, her father's family is Jewish and her mom's family is Northern Baptist. And I guess maybe I just want to say I have so many exes that have so much trauma with religion and narcissism all mixed up in that. My ex-husband's father was a minister, so I spent a lot of my time in that context. One of my girlfriends grew up in Mormonism and was abused by religious elders in her community. I was another girlfriend. So it's clearly like my theme of abuse before I was facing my own abuse and after I was facing my own abuse. Another that was raised, I don't know how she was raised, but she was in a traumatic environment growing up. And then, and Evangelia is coming back in. I say she was later in very conservative religious contexts that were very abusive, and she was arranged to marry someone that was also very abusive that was in the church. So continuing cycles of abuse within the structure of religion. And then my girlfriend's on right now too, and so she has her own history with religion in her family. So lots of people in my life that have a lot of trauma. So I'm around the layers of it as it propagates through other people's lives and the healing of it. So just gives you some of my context. Think of any other big pieces I want to share. Lots and lots of layers. Let me get Evangelia back up here and then practitioners. So I imagine you want to share just a little bit in response to all of the shares we've each had. So go ahead and do that. And then we'll be going with our first question. All right. Yeah, practitioners, anyone want to comment with all of your shares or share a little more?
Something that and Evangelina said that it was very touching because it reminds me of one of my experiences who helped me to open my heart to believe in the higher power again. Well, it was when I was doing inner work and see the vision when I was passing through something traumatic as a child. And I was able to see the angels and my spirit guides and the Christ consciousness, and they were around the situation, holding me like energetically. They could not interfere, but they were holding me. And when I look back, I think, this is the power, the force, or the reason why I was able to keep moving forward through this traumatic experience. If it wasn't for that energy, I would never have made it. But I have a strong resentment because I really thought like her. If there is a God, if there is a power, why is not protecting me, or what is allowing these things to happen? And then that helped me a little bit to open more to spirituality, about soul contracts and things that we sign up before that. But yes, but definitely there is a higher power, whichever name you want to give it, that is with us. We're passing through the challenging moment, and through that connection that it's within you is that we can survive or move forward to these difficult situations as a child. So I hope I'm making sense what I'm saying, but I was inspired to share that because of Evangelia's.
Yeah, thanks so much. And by the way, Evangelista, if you would, Evangelia, if you would turn on your video, I'll put you back in the spotlight again.
Yes.
Okay, great.
I'm right here.
Great.
Hi.
All right, cool.
I'm just blown away. I mean, that I'm finally being led down a road where there's other women that have experienced this kind of trauma, because the sexual trauma is huge, because I too, in my own family, experienced being molested and raped and groomed and being denied, and everything being shoved under the rug, and don't open your mouth. This is going to destroy the family. And it's just like, they didn't care what it was doing to destroy me. And I didn't have outlets. I didn't have people in my life to guide me in the right place. And just like the previous lady that spoke about, you know, having this angelic encounter, it took me having my own supernatural spiritual encounters that to me were more real than anything I'd experienced on the earthly plane. Like lights coming through a window and giving me this on a rainy day in Seattle, coming through and feeling this hug around me and getting visions of this stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh, okay, so this doesn't go along with you know, the religious stuff. But we all have to find that journey. And I think that God finds his way through us, however that needs to happen. And unfortunately, it's like sometimes severe trauma. For me, it took severe trauma and me just surrendering everything. Like, if you're real, like, do something with this. And he did. He showed me the version I am now today. The version that I'm able to speak to you today is the version that he showed me that I didn't believe in the beginning. It was like, I think you have me mistaken with someone else. I'm broken. I'm unworthy. I'm an addict. I've done all these horrific things. And you know, it made me understand like almost like all the people Jesus came to choose as his disciples. They were people that were abandoned by loved ones. Like how
Broken.
Yeah, like they were broken or rejected by people or been misled. And you know, you think about, well, those are the people that they're hard to love, but it's because they need the love. And Jesus showed us that. And it's just like, well, how did we get torn apart and misled away from that? And honoring what he'd said, that we're going to be able to do more than he can. I'm not saying we are Jesus, but he did tell us we are all able and capable. We all have these gifts. And it was like, man, it took me to overcome illness to be ignited. All these amazing gifts that were already part of me my entire life, that I felt like the enemy was just constantly had weeds all over me, stopping me from being who I am today. And I won't let these like a lot of false religion and all these beliefs just try to manipulate and tell me something that I'm not, you know. Or that's been the fight for me, is these people messaging me constantly telling me I'm evil, or I'm a witch, or I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So you guys think things from the earth is evil, but not pharmaceuticals and chemicals and all these things, right? So
Yep.
There's
Yep.
that war. There's that war.
And I want to clarify just one thing and two. So we are a community of on the panel right now, women and non-binary people, and men also experience all kinds of trauma and abuse from the system, and all kinds of trauma as well. Yeah, so making sure
It's so trauma induced. It's like the system thrives on the trauma, and then creating a system to keep the trauma in the body and in the mind. And so that it creates this chronic havoc. Like I analyze blood under a dark field microscope, so I can see the state of someone's cells and their terrain. And I know which ones are living with unresolved traumas, whether it's sexual trauma, abuse trauma, horrific events that took place. That frequency and that vibration is still affecting their cells' vibration, when the cells should be floating around like bubbles. Those that have had trauma, they're like this. And, you know, it's really sad because it's just disharmony that creates the dis-ease.
Yes, and we've got more comments from the panel. Brooke wants to share, and then TJ wants to share. Go ahead, Brooke.
Let me go ahead and lower my hand there. Feels important to bring up is this concept that most organized religion puts in, that we must put our faith and our all of our trust and that into a higher power, and often that is into a male father figure. And it is so embedded into so many of us that we are powerless because of that indoctrination. And I think one of the pieces when we are working through these traumas we've experienced, whether it is religious trauma or other traumas, is that when we are stepping fully into ourself, we're waking up, recognizing that the truth is we are light, we are divine, we are gods and conscious creators ourselves, is that then we need to take responsibility. We need to take accountability, and that is a hard step to take because we've been trained to be powerless, and well, God's doing it for us and God's got to save us. And so I just felt it was important to acknowledge that on this path of healing, that it is normal to, as you are moving through awakening, to move into a place of that feels like bliss, and then all of a sudden you're like, but I don't want to have to be responsible for everything. I don't want to take accountability for that. I chose this experience to teach myself something, this painful experience. And so I just thought it was worth bringing up that this is part of the evolutionary process, and it is difficult. And but having others that are going through it as well, or assistants or guides or people to support you through this process as you are stepping back into your full power, and stepping back into yourself as you're a creator of your life. It is difficult, and it's good to have people around you to help you through that process.
Thanks so much. And before we go to TJ and then DoveLight, I want to mention, so you all know on the panel, an example of how much this is of service. We just got a big donation from someone that's listening. So thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. I know we're spending a bit of time talking, and yeah. Well, thank you. Okay, let's see. We've got TJ, DoveLight, and then Angie.
Excuse me. I just wanted to say that in my early childhood, I lived on a farm, and that definitely saved me or helped me. The connection with the animals and connection with nature, and it wasn't. It was just necessary for me and my journey. It built me up and strengthened me and having the animals throughout had that unconditional love. And, and that was that unconditional love that I felt from them. Didn't feel it from God. So I wanted to touch on that. And then the other thing that I wanted to touch on was suicide. I've had several people in my life commit suicide. The latest one, my boyfriend, committed suicide. He could not forgive himself. He could not believe that God could forgive him. And he just could not, couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that all the things that he had done, could be forgiven. And other people too, in my life. I've had several suicides in my life. So, and I believe that it came from, that strong religious background of it just wasn't okay, and it's not okay to be yourself, for one. I mean, all of them, none of them were themselves. They weren't allowed to be who they truly were. So they just couldn't find a way to continue on this journey. So I just wanted to touch on that too. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for touching on that. My mom, that was raised in a traumatic context and all the poles of all the related things, she ended her life in 1994. Yeah. Oh. All right, DoveLight, and then Angie.
I'm sorry to hear that, Laureli. And something that I realized that sometimes questioning it begins the healing process. I generally got the blessing to be able to get out of my country and move here. I was able to hang out with the Brazilian spiritual community because Peru and Brazil are close, so we share a lot of the spirituality. and they talk, they're mediums, they talk with spirit, they believe in the Christ, in with Mother Mary. So it was so beautiful because I do have a relationship with the Christ consciousness and with the Mother Mary, not in the religions. And I always felt this shame and guilt to work with them because I'm not from their specific, religion. But it makes me wonder that their love and their light and their kindness, it goes beyond anything human. It's the essence that we're working. So sometimes you need to move away from where you are, from your community, from your place, from wherever you are, because you might end up alone. You might not believe in you, but it's for your highest good. So questioning start the healing process in most of the Americas. Most of the Americas. I don't know about the other countries because I'm from America, from South America, and they think that being with the church or being with the priest or getting their good eyes or their good hand, it may feel like a social good. I don't know how to say it in English, but social good standing. Like, oh, you're with the priest, oh, you go to church and this and that, and they give too much power to them. When they're only married human, it's the brainwashing. Like I said, when I was able to move away from Peru and go to America, I was able to be open to see. You can Google this in YouTube. All the pedophile people, the people who were abusing little kids and children for years in Europe, they were sent to the Americas from the escape from Europe. And that is what is the highest percent in America of all the sexual abuse toward men that was happening. And now my stepsister, her older sister, she's from Ecuador, and her mother, it was gonna be a nun, and she has to escape the monastery where she was living to the USA because there was like an untold organized prostitution chain within the religious background. And these are things that, thank God, they're not hiding anymore. You can actually research in Google. There's documentals all over YouTube about this rate of prostitution or this abuse happening, and you realize this is an organized crime, that we're giving the power ourselves, as we are giving the power to it. And generally it goes back to the essence, to going back to find this light within, whatever you want to call it. It's healing. It brings you back this power to be able to believe and choose and to connect the way that you're able to connect. It's allowing us again the permission, because we don't need permission, we are already connected. So I want to honor that. Sometimes it's good to question. Sometimes it's a healing process to move away from the places when you have to.
Yes. Saying no and honoring oneself is hugely healing. Angie's next.
I just wanted to echo, I guess, what Brooke was saying. And I think it's really important because I am of the belief that God is, or it's source energy. It is a spark, and we are the reflection of that spark, which gives us all that power of source energy. So when we are asking forgiveness from somebody, we're asking forgiveness from ourselves. And it's so sad that people are feeling that they cannot be forgiven from themselves, or that this God is not forgiving them. And I'm so sorry for the suicides, and that's awful. And my heart goes out to you guys. And I feel that giving it up to a father figure is very much taking away the accountability of your choices and your life and what you are vibrating out. And to be healed by this energy has much to do with your belief and what you're being healed from. And so that, again, is us healing ourselves, because we believe that we will be healed. So that vibration comes right back to us. And the people that don't believe, they're having the struggle and the trouble and are lacking this healing and feeling that energetic love that we all feel. I was young, like Tammy, and was laying hands on people before I even knew what I was doing. And people would want to hear me talk at a young age. And I had, that I had the power of God, and I was speaking this truth, and I didn't even understand what that meant. But it was basically, I believe, the integrity of the truth of what I was feeling, the connection I was feeling, and people felt that integrity from me. So I just feel that there are different two kinds of us. There are people that do believe in God, and that is what they believe, and that is how they are guided from that. And that is perfectly, that helps them. And then there's us that believe that we are God. We are the source sending out that vibration and getting back the vibration we send out. And if we send out really struggled, hard vibration, we are going to get those struggles right back. And when we start to believe that there's something other, something more than what we are, we're going to also get that back. So we receive the love that we are trying to search out for, if that makes sense. So thank you.
Great, great. As you're sharing, I'm reminded of one of my colleagues in Portland that's part of the beginning of many of these events and the beginning of panels. As she's raised in a religion and maybe wasn't as actively involved in her professional life, certainly for a number of years. And then her family had been healers and the church was really the call for her. I'm not certain. I don't know. It was, she's Asian. It's an Asian practice, an Eastern practice. She was called in to be a healer as part of the lineage and part of service to the church. And I don't know that she would have opened otherwise. She is someone that just worked in operations and approached the world in a very different way. And it was that call that had her step in, and she has great healing gifts. And I believe that she's currently practicing. She may focus it mostly inside the structure of her religious community, and she may do it mostly for free. And it did help her open to become the healer that is her, right? That's here for her. So sometimes it is of service. There might be other ways that it could be of service for her to open, and in so many ways that you've all shared, right? It's part of a positive path for so many people. And then there are other ways that unfortunately it's shared in a way that's constraining and holding people down and not allowing us to honor what I really think is the spirit that is in all of us. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. I know we have one person in line to ask a question. I'd say practitioners, just anything else you want to share about the theme before we leap in, and then we'll get started on our questions. All right. All right. Well, Jennifer, do you want to jump up here in the spotlight with us and ask your question? If you do, turn on your video so I can get you up on spotlight. And if you want, you can just unmute and ask by audio. Oh, let me say a few things before I do that. I mentioned that it's great for everyone to practice opening to your intuition. So if you want, scribble and take notes and draw and see if what comes through you is similar to what we share on the panel. Please, if something does come through you that you imagine is for the person that asked the question, we request that you hold that until we finished answering their question. And then if you want, private chat with them and ask if they'd like to hear what came through you. Please honor whatever they share. They might feel full after hearing answers from a group of us. Trust that it came through you for another reason. And then when you ask a question here, it is recorded, right? It's public and it's recorded. And so when you ask, if we go deeper than you want us to go here, we share about topics you don't want to share it about here, that's totally okay. Let us know, interrupt us, give us guidance. We want to honor you in our answer. I think those are all the big things I share in setting the context before we jump in. So yeah, Jennifer, are you ready? Did you want to jump up on screen?
Hi, I'm here. I have my light off, so I don't know if you guys can see me too well. I'm in New York and it's nighttime here.
The video's not on yet. Let's I can get you up on the spotlight if you turn on your video camera. Even if we can't see you well, I'll just get you up here. Okay, great. It is definitely dark. We cannot see you. You are up here. You don't have to have your video on if you don't want, but yeah, what is your question?
The video is on. It's just, I don't think you got, let me see if I can turn the brightness up.
Yeah, we can see you a little bit. We can.
Okay. Hi.
Right there. Hi.
Hi. Hello, everyone. So I was listening in on everyone's stories that they're sharing, and I almost just bursted in tears because I kind of feel like I always felt like I was alone with my situation, and not, even though I know that's not true. I know a lot of people go through stuff, a lot of things that I've gone through, and just listening to everyone was just, it kind of intrigued me to come on here and just, I felt like my question is, I'm very conflicted with everything that I've gone through. But as far as the different teachings of what I grew up with, I grew up in foster care. So I never really had, family or home or just religious to follow, or just like guidance of where I'm supposed to go, what I'm supposed to do. So I feel like I've been taking care of myself since I was 2 years old, just trying to figure life out and where to go, what to do. I'm now 41 and trying to take care of my children and guide them. But I would say, tortured with religion and the abuse and things that I've gone through in my life from the short periods of time that I was with family or mom or dad. And I'm very intuitive, and I've been trying to figure out how to navigate through it, because I've been discouraged and told that it's against God, and things like that. And I'm drawn to like oracle cards and just healing and things. And I have everything sitting in my room, but it's like every time I go to touch it, I'm afraid of that fear of judgment. And am I doing something wrong? Um am I like, I'm always just feeling like I'm being judged, or just like discouraged from every decision that I've tried to make in my life to take care of myself and not have the guidance and the support that I needed. I've also went through mental, physical, emotional, and sexual abuse as well. And I've never really had support with any of that. I've learned to just be strong. And I feel like I've always been a strong person. But I hit a point in my life of losing everything that I had, even my children, because of the toll that life took on me from being intuitive and having visions, these visions and dreams of things happening to my children and to me. And it just kind of shut me down completely, mentally, physically, emotionally, to where I feel paralyzed. But I know that there's just so much in me that I've wanted to have an impact in the world and make a difference and teach my children. I have 7 children that I'm trying to guide, but I am so, I would say, in a million pieces, not knowing what to believe in, not knowing where to go, what to do, how to do it. And to the point, like, I've on numerous occasions felt like giving up because I just don't have the strength. And even though I've always been a strong person, I feel like I don't know what to believe, or how to, you know, how, like, is it okay? Like, just having that fear of like being told it's against God, it's against God, it's, just everything of what I've always intuitively felt was right, I was told it wasn't. So I've been fearful to make decisions. I've been at this, I still do it, but then feel guilty after, like I'm doing something wrong. But knowing that people are like, thank you, you helped me, thank you, you did this for me. So it's like, but I'm still struggling, like, but I'm not God. Feeling like I'm supposed to be leading people to God, but I'm like, I don't even know who God is. I know I had visions of a voice telling me, don't be afraid of what I called you to do. But I didn't see God. I just heard a voice. I had visions of a light shining up behind people and judging the heart and saying God judges the heart, and having visions of Jesus, but not the way Jesus was written in the Bible. So me not knowing if I'm supposed to be on a religious path or a spiritual path. And I've been so conflicted with that and afraid, where I just haven't done neither. I just gave up on everything, and I don't want to. I don't want to give up. So I'm hoping maybe you guys can guide me in a sense, because I feel like I'm 41 and I feel like my life and my children's life depend on it. I'm doing it more for them, but also I want to figure it out, but I don't have guidance. I don't have family. I don't have enough of what I need to do what I need to do and figure things out. Um, I guess if that makes sense.
It makes so much sense. And first, I want to say thank you so much for being here, for getting up and asking. You are exactly why we are here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
I wanted to
so
say,
much.
I
What did
know I was gonna say that's another thing when I heard you mentioning about your girlfriend. That was another part of my life that I was wanted to lead down. I felt drawn to be down that, and I also was discouraged from that as well. So I've been feeling single and alone because I'm afraid. I'm afraid to, because of the torture and the way it tried to discourage me from it, to where I ended up in multiple domestic violence relationships, abuse from men overpowering me as a woman. But I've always felt masculine. I've always felt that I've connected with women more than I did with male. And I didn't understand that part of me, but I wrestled with it for a long time and held it in because I was told that's against God. But I was raped by a female, my own female cousin that did that to me. And that's what started it in the first place. And not just from there, but other male family members. But being that I've always been abused by men and always seen men as abusive, it made me not look at men in the light that I felt comfortable or safe to be with a man. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel safe. I feel that I have to protect myself, protect my children. So I've been alone, but I am conflicted because I'm 41 and I'm alone. And I feel like I can't date either. It's like I'm discouraged from women, but I'm also been abused by men. So it's like, it's just, it has me in a depression because I'm human,
You've had so much trauma from so many different directions. I want to say, and I've been abused by
Mhm.
men and women also, and it is incredibly complex and messy, and it is, and your situation is. We've
Yeah.
got people on the panel that want to share with you. So let me open up some
Okay.
shares, and yeah, you're welcome to
Okay.
respond. We don't have anyone else in line right now, so I'll just keep checking that, and so we have a little bit more time to answer. So practitioners, go ahead somewhere in the 2.5, 3 minute zone in your responses, and we might have a little extra time. We've got Angie, Brooke, TJ, and DoveLight in line right now. So go ahead, Angie.
Thank you.
Jennifer,
Yeah.
I can hear, you are so powerful and you are so strong. And I can hear that you already know the answer. As you're talking, you can hear that you're just going around it and you know the answer to it because you know that you have this power to make things happen and to change. And if God is all loving and all knowing, and if you are energy, why would he not want you to connect into that energy? You have so much guidance around you. You said you don't have any guidance. You have so much guidance around you, and you're just looking outside for that guidance. And that guidance is in here. It's in here where you can connect into your spirit and you connect into your guides and you can connect into your higher self. Let them be your guide because that is your true self. And that is the vibration that you need to bring out there for your kids to see the integrity of who you are. It is very understandable to see that you fear men. That is incredibly understandable. And there is nobody that love doesn't tell you you're wrong for liking women. That is a very real fear you have. But what also you have is a strength inside of you that you keep looking outward for. And that strength is inside of, and I can hear you when you talk. Trust yourself, believe yourself, go inside to hear those still small voices that are in you and believe it and live that integral life that your kids will see and things will start happening for you because the more you live integrity and you believe what you feel, because when you live integrity, your body tells you you're right. Everything tells you this feels good. And then those other fear, the other, that you're going to hell or this is not of God, those things start to fade away because you start to see the power of who you are. Believe in your power. It is so much stronger than what you're giving yourself credit for. I can hear it in you. I think we all can. I just really encourage you to go within and to do meditation and to start to play with your own spirit and your own energy. Because once you start to feel your own energy, you're going to feel something that is far more powerful than you've ever felt before. I promise that. So work on the meditation and going within.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That helps a lot, because like I don't have family anymore. Like I don't have guidance, and I've been trying to do it by myself, and I feel like I don't have all the answers. And you're right when you say I've been looking outside of it, because my intuition that I used to have, I felt like something took that power from me. Something drained it out of me, or took it out of me, where I don't trust it anymore, or I don't even hear it anymore. Yes. Okay, give me 1 second. So it's like now I'm looking outside of it, because even though it comes through, I still get messages, I still get dreams and visions, but the impact, it just doesn't, it hasn't, it's almost like I'm so paralyzed and so numb that I don't even feel it.
I
It's like
used to have nightmares. I used to have nightmares so bad, and my nightmares were of demons. There were always demons that were coming to get me, or coming to get my siblings, or somebody was attacking me. And I couldn't take naps from it. I took sleeping medicine for years for it, just to avoid the nightmares. And once I started to feel my own power, and that I was creating the response that was coming back to me, those dreams went to the wayside. They weren't there anymore, because I realized that these were me coming to me. These are my fears being portrayed, physically in this realm, that I didn't have to deal with anymore, because I no longer needed that to show me that there was something better and powerful in myself. And I was much stronger than any of those. And they disappeared. So there's a lot to be said to meditate, and to go within and to find your own power and your own strength, and to live in that integrity, so you are sending out that vibration that's coming back to you in the love and the trust that you so richly deserve.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you. Yes, next we've got Brooke, TJ, DoveLight, and Tammy. Go ahead, Brooke.
Sister, you are not alone. You are not alone. And you are going through the process of understanding your true nature, your true self. And unfortunately, this is the process that it takes. And you are a divine being. We are all divine beings. Your nature is love. And we came here to experience waking up to this knowing that you are divine, that you are love. This is what we came here for. We came down here in this place of juicy emotions that has a lot of pain, and it is difficult. And we actually, as spirits, as soul beings, as a being on the other side, actually, it's exciting and to come to think about coming to earth. And it is painful, and is very painful, especially for those that are very sensitive, which you are. I agree with Angie. You're very gifted, very powerful. You are a light worker. You are meant to come and shine light on this planet, helping the planet wake up to itself. And you are in the process of that yourself. And many light workers, we are planted on the planet so that our light can shine. And believe me, even in the pain that you are experiencing, your light is shining out and having impact on the earth.
Wow.
But this process of having to go through the shadow work, go through the pain, is part of the process. And so, just we're all probably going to say different versions of the same thing, but as Angie said, coming back into yourself. There is no teacher. The time is done with leaders and gurus and teachers. Yes, we may go get support. You're hearing support tonight from us, but we are mere reflections of your beauty and divinity. What is hopefully being inspired in you is you remembering the truth of who you are tonight, that your unique gifts, your intuition, your inner truth is the way. It is the way out of the struggle and the misery. And you are loved and supported by many in the unseen world and by the light workers that are here tonight. And it is tough to do this alone. And there are online communities, even if there's not community right where you are, this is one of those communities. And as Angie said, you bring in what you need. You brought this tonight to you. You brought this to yourself to hear words of affirmation and love. You are the love that you are seeking, and we all honor you for the hard work you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you. I was invited here tonight by a friend that's in the Cecily. She brought me in, and I thank her so much for bringing me in here. I didn't even know what it was, and I'm glad that I did, because it just, to hear, like everyone share their story and their life. I've been so isolated from the world, and just not forgetting that there's other people like myself that are light workers that are, trying to just, overcome their pain and turn it into purpose. And I just felt like I just been so like when you're by yourself, it's like, even though I know that I'm not, it's just almost like you're like in my mind, I'm thinking I'm one person. This world is so big. There's so much going on, and it just breaks my heart, because I worry for my children. Like, I want to protect them and guide them. And it's like, there's so much, I couldn't protect myself. I always feel like I got to protect them. So I've been keeping them so enclosed in the house, but I feel like I'm like trapping them in where they're not experiencing life. They're not developing, the way that they need to. And I don't want to hinder them from their purpose in life and, what it is for them. But it's like, I just know the world is just so dangerous. I've seen too much, and I've watched a lot of people hurt, seriously hurt. And I know that I'm a loving and light person, and I want to give that to people. I feel like that's what, despite what I've gone through, I try not to let it turn me into a mean or bitter person. I do have frustrations at times, which I get mad at myself for, but I keep trying to revert back to me, like not let it change who I am, because when you're surrounded by evil and darkness and negativity, sometimes it's just, and you don't have enough positivity and enough light and love to fill you, even though I'm pouring it out into other people. A lot of times I get a lot of the negative dark energy just surrounding me and trying to knock me down, and just, but I'm trying to protect myself so that I'm teaching my children to be love and light, to, how to treat people and how to be. And it shows the reflection of when they go to school, when they're in places. People tell me all the time, your children are so, they love my children. They can feel the love, they can feel the light. And that's what I want. I just want to make a difference and things like
and
that. I appreciate. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying and you're on that path. You are a beautiful person, and you're doing such a good job. And I would say it's important for all of us that we do find community, and we find people who are safe enough, that share our values, and you're wanting to find and create that space for your kids. And the person that brought you here, and the examples of people that you're meeting tonight, right? We are people that are aligned in the direction that you're heading. So we've got more people that want to share with you. So I've got TJ and DoveLight and Tammy that want to share with you. Yeah, and you're a
Thank you,
beautiful
guys.
you're a beautiful speaker also. I imagine that you're going to be impacting a lot of people as you find the safe places to share.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next. Yeah, so Tammy, TJ.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
I just also wanted to thank you for being here, and also and thank you for your questions, and thank you for your beautiful being. I just also feel just the beautiful presence of you, and to just believe in yourself, believe in those dreams, believe in those visions, more and more and more. And also what was coming up too was to when the darkness feels overwhelming and gets too close, just stop, just say stop. No, that's the old life. I welcome in the new. I welcome in me. I welcome the light within me and the love within me. But you can, use a physical to me, and it just helps to have that energy. I'm feeling like two hands. Usually I only use one, but today I'm feeling two hands. Just you can go forward and beside and back and up and down and stand in your power and just say, strengthen my aura, strengthen my aura, strengthen my aura, and connect me to my aura. Couple things that popped into mind to help build your strength and your power, and the more you believe in the self, the more you'll believe in yourself. And I wanted to tell you too a little. You were talking about it being wrong and the church being wrong and meditation being wrong, with the church and all this other stuff. So when I first started going to meditations, the whole way there, I'd be driving my car. The whole way there, I'd be saying, God, if this isn't right, if this is against you, turn me around. Just turn me around. Give me some sign, some sign, whatever. So, and then on the way to my first metaphysical fair, I was driving, doing the same thing, and I heard this song on the radio, and I said, okay, if this is real, if I am really supposed to go to this fair, play that song again. And it played again, right? One after it finished, and as soon as it finished playing, it started over again. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's kind of cool. And and the song finished, and it did it again 3 times in a row. That song, the same song, played on the same channel 3 times in a row, right before I was right on my way to this metaphysical fair. And it gave me it helped me to believe. It was me giving me validation that it's okay. So you can ask for those types of signs too. On the way that was on the way to my first metaphysical fair, just being at one. And then on the way to the first metaphysical fair that I was actually a practitioner in, I was driving in, and my dad had passed in 2003. And I who knows what he would have thought of all this stuff that I'm into now. It doesn't, but on the way there was a cloud in the sky, and it was almost a perfect hummingbird, and he loved hummingbirds. So it was so cool. This beautiful hummingbirds. It just was like, my dad is right here with me. I know he is, but it's just fun getting those signs and symbols of validation to me. And that helps to me, helped me believe in myself more, and helped me, it really helped me. So to me, even believing in those signs and symbols, believing in yourself. And then another thing that was coming up was, I therefore now choose. And then what the words that you'll come up with those words, but I therefore now choose. And I therefore now choose to believe in myself and my power, myself and my power, because you do have the power to step out of the perceived darkness, and step out of the perceived fear, and step out of the perceived guilt, or the patterns and of guilt that you feel. And it feels like your life is crumbling right now, but it's really being reframed and rebuilt. You're rebuilding your life to yourself and your own life that is more incredible than you could ever imagine. And trust in your kids too. Trust in their own divine being. You, just like you are a divine being, so are they. And to communicate, have those communications with them, and they're very wise also.
Thank you.
To have those beautiful conversations and communications with them and their divine being. Yeah, you're just a beautiful, beautiful soul, and so are your children, and just come together as one and step out of the perceived fear and guilt and step into the belief. And so thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I thank
You're
you for
welcome.
sharing that with me. Like it definitely helped me to remember the moments that like I have like asked questions like, is this right for me? And I would get those answers, and then it was like, but then I would get another, it was almost like mixed signals where like I would get the answer, but then I would get another one like the answer was yes, but then it was no. And I get so afraid because like as a mom, I've never had a mom, I've never had a dad, I've always had strangers, complete strangers, guiding me and just leading me in all these different ways. And as a mom, sometimes I like wonder, like, am I leading them the right way? Because what they're seeing me do is, it's like what is it? Like they're learning from me of what I'm doing. And the path that I've learned, the way that I grew up, it's like, I'm like, wow, it's completely different. It's completely different. And my biggest fear is just failing them and not guiding them right and not. So I get scared when I when I talk to them about their dreams and visions. It's almost as if, they talk to me and they're comfortable and it seems okay, but it's like, sometimes how you feel like you're just what is it like almost like, well, okay, the way how like I was taught, like God is supposed to be the one to have all the answers, or you're supposed to go to the Bible, you're supposed to, like, all the answers is there, so I was taught to turn to God, turn to the Bible, that's it, nothing else. So I wasn't taught to turn into myself and trust in my own intuition, but my intuition used to tell me that. I used to say, no, I need to believe in myself. I didn't want to rely on something, not to say that I didn't believe in it, but I just wanted to believe in myself and my own strength. Like, why can't I do this? Or what's
Yeah.
wrong with me? That kind of thing where, go ahead.
Let's say we're not taught to use ourselves and our experience like as the antenna, as the receiving element to know the answers. And I think that
Right.
some of what everybody is sharing is take a little step, notice and feel and receive resonance or, dissonance of like what's good and what's not to get caught in our thinking and our mind and what we've been told,
Yeah.
and just use all of us and our wholeness to know.
Thank you. When I'm in a space like this, I feel more at home because I feel like you guys, the way how I needed this, like I felt like I'm not crazy. Like I've been feeling like I'm going crazy. Like,
You're
what
not
is wrong with me?
crazy.
Oh
Yeah.
my
And
gosh.
I say part of
Yeah.
our society too is I would say the psychotic and the psychic opening. There's a continuum, and or they're very close, and depending on how we're looking at it, we see it differently. So again, part of it is who are you around, and this is the take steps, take little steps. Sometimes the thing that comes
Yeah.
through us is a big step. They'd like to notice and tune. Right, with what we feel, not just what our mind says. And I have tricks of like crouching like a sumo wrestler, so you can really feel your body and be present in the moment to notice what's true right now. And I just want to go on. DoveLight wants to share and Tammy wants to share, so you've got so much. And I want to encourage you too. You have so much you want to share. There's so much that's wanting to come through you to impact other people. Right, powerful message and the smoothness of your stories. Go ahead, Jennifer. What do you want to say? And then I want to go to the others.
Yeah, I was gonna say there is so much in me from like my memory of just being very young, but like the dreams and visions, I used to get messages that come through, and I've always been I've been trying to figure out how, how to use my voice, how to use my energy, how to do it in a way where it impacts everyone. But the part that I think what kind of had me a little stuck was because when you're taught to be a certain way and you go down this path on your own and you're completely different from all your family, you're doing everything that's the complete opposite. It's so scary because it's like, okay, I'm not with that family anymore. So how do I go about this alone and feel okay and feel safe? And knowing that I'm doing the right thing, knowing that even if it feels right to me, even if I know the answer. So unless I'm like connected with people like me, where I felt like even right now, I feel like I've met you guys in some way, some form. I just feel that I've had this vision of just being in this space right now. And it's like, it's almost like you don't know when you're there until you're there. You know, you don't know. It's so crazy. But I thank you guys so much because I feel like it makes a lot more sense, you know, than everything that you guys are saying is exactly what I've been feeling. But just like I said, people telling me, no, that's not right. No, it's wrong. No, it's so it's like, wow. So
So we're,
thank you guys so much.
you're welcome. We're going to be the community of people that tell you yes. Yes.
Thank you.
And maybe in a year, you're going to be on stage answering questions for other people.
That'd be awesome.
All right. We've got DoveLight and then Tammy.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for honoring us with sharing your story. But more than anything, you honor yourself by speaking up, because your voice has been repressed for so many years, for so long. They're telling me that to the point that you didn't even consider expressing or talking for shame or for just didn't feel like you had a voice. So just by yourself in your spirit, guy, in your spirit, but you're doing this to you, you're already shifting, healing and blessing yourself because you are allowing it. We cannot know your story. We cannot perhaps give our divine insights or help information unless you are willing to do so, to be open, to be here for yourself. So all the healing, all the blessing, all the divine start within us. And I just want to honor that, and because I feel your soul has shift already, healing every time you speak and you talk, you're taking it out. I feel like there is a lot of forgiveness in the energy field to be done. Again, we are in work in process. So all of us, people who have beautiful families, typical families, we all have something to learn. We all pass through challenges. And I'm not putting your pain better or worse than anybody else. But I'm just saying that you do have the power and the love to honor this truth. And there is a lot of forgiveness to be done when you're done, because what they're telling me, what I'm seeing here, it's the reason, one of the reasons that you question so much this about God and all this and that, in part it has to do with the programming of others, but also because you're afraid to be betrayed. You have this feeling, if something doesn't resonate, just throw it away, don't listen to me. But they're telling me that if you're open, you're being cheated and you're being mistreated and you're being betrayed. They keep telling me that there is a part of you who still, it's in the subconscious, they still feel betrayed. So it feels like if you open up to God or the spirit guys or whatever you want to call it, you're going to be betrayed. You don't want to be ultimately vulnerable to that level. They're telling me that with discipline, you can accomplish everything you're sending your mind to do, which means that because we are working a lot in the mental, we have a beautiful mind. Our mind has made us to help us in this lifetime. But I feel like we are, in this case, because we are used to all the old reprogramming, we are questioning God, our belief, our past, present, future through the mind, to the point that it's actually, we're using it sometimes as a way to don't deal with the emotional part, because it's in the emotional realm. In this case, at this moment, what they're telling me, it's where you actually can feel your truth, can feel the divine, can feel God. You're not even gonna, your mind is not even gonna question when you have this deep feeling within that you are connecting. You don't even call it God. He doesn't even, or she doesn't know. It doesn't even matter. What is it called? It is a pure connection. And so this is about allowing yourself the permission or the gift, or just allowing yourself the same way that you're allowing yourself to be here to tell your story, to have a connection to a new version of God. It's for you. And it's gonna show you, it's not complicated, it's not complex, it's not gonna reject you. It is just allowing yourself a moment to feel that. If you remember in your life, a good way to exercise, if it does resonate with you, is that if there is a moment in your life where you generally have feel joy, just go back to that feeling, go back to that feeling, allow that moment just to be in that feeling, and then you're going to in tune with this energy. If not joy, then peace. And what they're trying to say is like something that a lot of people have seen. Your connection with the divine, it's gonna come from you, within you, so strong. The doubts in your mind is not gonna, it's just gonna come like a cloud. Right now they're coming very strong because you do have a spiritual gift. You are very powerful and open. I'm sorry, but we live in a work of dark and light. So it is our connection to the divine who help us move forward, who block things, is our relationship. But what they're telling me, that you are afraid to open up to this relationship, sometimes because you don't want to feel betrayed again, not even to this level of. And they're also telling me that please be yourself. They want you to be yourself because nobody, absolutely nobody will allow you to be yourself but you. Not even if we tell you good things, or you're nice, or you spread this and that. You have to be willing to be yourself when you feel ready. And it's okay when we're not completely ready. It's okay if we feel broken, if we feel okay, we feel shame. Sometimes before going to forgiveness, we have to acknowledge the hurt. And it's not easy. It's not easy to say, what the fuck, nobody, I'm sorry, what the F, nobody take care of me? Or why didn't I have a family? Why nobody love me? This is not a stage to be a victim. This is acknowledging that there is an energy, there is a boy who wanted we need to take it out. Before we put something in shamanic, I do a lot of shamanic work, we have to take something out. They're telling me also that it will benefit to do a lot of clearing course or compassionate clearing. So in this case will be exercises about clearing, not because you are something broken that doesn't serve or anything. It's just that because you still has an energetic link to your past. And trust me, the past is never gonna change. What happened, it did happen. But our emotional charge, the way they react, it can shift. It can become wisdom. It can become strength. But it's one moment at a time, one day at a time. Nobody, absolutely nobody was born perfect, knowing what to do with their kids or wishing the best. Even the best parents in the world may turn up losing their kids, or their kids because of their freedom might turn out a different way. So please, of course, it's beautiful that you care about your kids, but remember to stay in the present. Do the best you can in your heart and yourself, and that always will be good enough. Don't do more than you're capable to do, because that will feel you exhausted. And don't do less than what you're capable to do at this moment in your life, because then you regret. It's about finding this balance. You genuinely are loved by the divine. You genuinely are blessed by the divine. This is why you're still here at this moment. And this didn't came from no one but from you. It's coming from you. So we have to retrain, or it's retraining. That's what they're telling me. Retrain ourselves to shift this programming, but it's also coming from the emotional realm. So the spirit of Louise Hay is coming very strongly to me. This very strong. This is free. I don't know if have you worked with Louise Hay, or do you know about her?
What is it? Who?
Louise Hay. Louise Hay, I think that's called in English, and somebody showed the
Yeah, Tammy's
Yeah.
got the book. Tammy's got the book up.
Yeah, so exactly. So what I'm putting there, it's the free YouTube video for the free audiobook. Again, they're telling me that you have to be very disciplined with this, because you do have a blessed future. It can be shifted. It can be, you are not doomed. All your life, you have ever thought that you didn't know happiness, that you didn't know love, that will always will be hurtable. And the divine, because you are allowing it, even if you don't really know what is the connection with the divine yet, but you are allowing it, wants to turn you different, wants to move you forward, wants to help you, and it's going to help you. But for that, they're asking you, if it resonates with you, to be disciplined with the subconscious programming. Again, this is for clearing, because we have this beautiful gift of free will that the universe doesn't discriminate. So whatever we have in the back, there's very strong. We're always thinking about and always charging, we're going to attract for dealing, for healing, or for continuing. And again, trust me, you are not alone. Many of us here has passed through so many things, through many traumas, so many challenges. and we are able to shift it to moving forward, not because we're perfect, not because we are meant to always be happy, not because we are saints, because none of us were meant to be saints in this planet. Trust me, that's why we became humans, otherwise we'll stay on the other side. It is because there is something that, no, I can't even put it in words, that you will gain in your heart, in your soul, in your spirit, that you will know after you have work, overcome, and love to it. Because at the end of the day, all of us came here to master love. And love comes in many ways, in many words. I hope I'm making any sense with that. And please, everybody, don't forget to do the free drawing. I mean, a free raffle. So you can have a free session with any of us here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. When you said the betrayal, I feel like that was the key word, is that I've watched so many people betray other people, but also myself. I've always been a person to just be so genuine and pure and just to help people and from my heart. And all I've felt like I've gotten in return was the betrayal of just taking advantage of me from my mom, my dad, all my family, my friends, the relationships I've been in. So it put me in a position to not trust anyone or anything. And then at one point, I did feel that I was betrayed by God in a way, feeling like everything that was happening to me was that God was punishing me, that this was happening to me because of the decisions that I made or that I was told that was against God. So I felt like I was receiving all of these things that happened to me because I basically marked my life of just whatever decisions I made as a child. I felt like it ruined my future as a mom, as a woman, because I didn't, like, just always feeling that way, just feeling like I betrayed God. So I felt like in return of me betraying God, that I was betrayed and that I was going to continue to be betrayed for the rest of my life. So I've never been able to love anyone, or I love my children, but I don't even know how to show love. I just do it by just doing things. I don't know how to genuinely just be open my heart and just receive love.
Well,
I just give it. I just give it. I don't know
I
how
want
to
to,
receive it.
and I want to encourage you that right now you're receiving love. You do know how.
Thank
And I hear that
you.
you know you have the capacity to open and receive more. And part of what you're learning is to discern and to trust, when is it love? When is it good for you?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What happened, if I may speak? Are you done? Because I don't want to interrupt you, Jennifer.
Yeah, go ahead. No,
What
It's okay.
happened in the energy field, and I can tell you this because I see it in myself and I see it in many people that I have worked with, is that we pass through so much trauma that our third eye, it's moving so fast because it's scanning people before we meet, and it's scanning the room, it's scanning the area. It doesn't happen to all of us, but to many of us, it's a self-protection defense.
Yes.
So basically, trust me, they're telling me so hardly. They're telling me so hard. There is fear. First of all, they're telling me they will love for you, if you choose to do so, to work with your voice, because your voice is an extension of your soul, and your cells needs to hear the voice, even if it's just your name. Because I keep hearing lullabies. It's like you wanted a lullaby. You just want just a divine mother to hold you. You just want a mother to hold you. They're telling me, and they can provide you that. They can, because you do have the connection with that. So they're telling me that God, the creation, God, all these concepts of gods that we have, we only have it through our human individual experience. God flows through us, lives through us, bless to us, but it's beyond our human experience. It's beyond. God loves every single one. The people that we consider who has done the worst, horrible, monstrous thing in this planet, God or goddess or it or whatever, love it. The people who has been the most sane, most beautiful, most amazing, most kind people in the world, love it, because that's the gift of unconditional divine love. This is why the angels have not leaving you. This is why the angels love you and see you for your potential and your life and your love. They not giving up on you, Jennifer. They're not. They're telling me that very strongly. They haven't given up on you at all. They not, because they want to show you what's divine love, and they want to show you what's unconditional love, and they want to show you because you deserve it. They keep telling me deserve it, worthiness, and this is going to be one of your freaking greatest journeys in your life when you can. And they're telling me that you're gonna open. They're telling me that you're gonna do it. They're showing me right now the highest probability future is coming up when you're going to see yourself one day. And you're going to see one day yourself and say, I worth this love just by me existing, just by me being myself. You are going to see yourself. Trust me. You have to own it. And you are already doing it. They're telling me that you're already doing it. They tell you there is no rush. Trust me. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much.
You got me crying. Like, I thank you so much. Like, I felt like that. I was like, did they give up on me? Because, like, I felt like they used to speak to me and they used to give me messages of how to, like, I kept dreaming, like, even though I was going through what I was going through, I would get messages to just, like, whatever it was that I wanted to do. And I wanted to obey. I wanted to serve in the highest way. I wanted to give people the healing and the love that they deserve. Like, I hate to see people suffer. And I just wanted to heal them in some way and just heal their wounds and take it as my own and carry it for them to help, just to lift them up.
And I want to encourage you, part of what you'll learn too is that you don't have to hold it for them. You can help them learn to release it. You can send it into the earth. You can send it flowing somewhere else.
Right.
You don't have to hold the pain of other people. And Tammy's got something to share with you.
Yeah, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Oh, my heart. One thing I wanted to tell you is this came to me as you were talking the first time. It's okay for you to feel, and it's okay for you to love. It's okay for you to be who you are. So if I know you're at this place where, the church has told you all kinds of stuff, and so much manipulation and brainwashing happens in those places. But it's okay for you to feel, and it's okay for you to receive the things that you used to receive. It's okay for you to be whoever you want to be. It's okay. And the other thing I needed to tell you was that God loves you. God loves you. Loves you.
Thank you so much.
And whatever it is that you feel like you're being punished about, really, you have to forgive your own self. You have to forgive your own self. It feels like forgiveness is here for you, but you have to forgive your own self, because the thing is God has already forgiven you. Already, it's done. But you got to forgive you and not hold that stuff so tight and so hard on yourself.
I feel like I became so bitter and angry.
Yeah.
Just being treated, just so wrong.
Yeah.
And I started just being mean and not giving the love that I used to. And I don't want to be that way. Like, I know in me, that's not my heart. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to love. I'm here to keep
Well, you
giving.
are, because you're a healer.
Yes.
You are a healer. That is why you're conflicted like this, because you know that you're a healer, and you know that you're supposed to love, and that you created in the image of God. You are a lover. You're not a fighter. So that's why you have this confliction within you. It's like you want to, that you're supposed to love, that you are a healer.
Right.
But you've been through so many things, and so many people are speaking in your ears. And so it's the time now, just like one of the other young ladies said, it's the time now to not be trying to find a guru, but find the guru that's inside of you. Find your guru.
Okay.
Listen to the ones that speak to you that people tell you not to listen to. And also another thing I wanted to share with you is, if you're not doing mirror work, you need to start doing mirror work.
Okay.
Like really, really standing in the mirror, speaking to yourself, saying beautiful things to you, things that you would like somebody else to say to you. Say beautiful things to yourself in the mirror. And the best way that I found to do it is to do it naked. Do it naked and unafraid. And just speak to yourself and say beautiful things to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because the more you do it, the more you'll start to internalize it.
I
And
used
you'll
to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, the more you do it, the more you'll start to internalize it, and you'll start to embody the things that you're saying about yourself.
Thank you. I used to look in the mirror and I used to be proud of myself because I knew the reflection that I felt, that I loved on somebody, that I healed somebody, I gave to somebody, I changed someone's life in a positive way.
Yes.
And once I started changing and being consumed by a lot of it, and I gained so much weight, I went from 140 pounds to like over 300. And I felt like it's because I always was taking on everyone's problems and trying to help everyone and heal everyone, and just stuffing down my stuff and just still trying to help people, where it affected my health. It affected, where it became too much for me, to where I stopped looking in the mirror. I stopped being, it just kind of, it definitely a side of me that I didn't ever think would happen, but I think.
But you got to stop taking that stuff on for other people.
Yeah.
You got to stop, because it's not healthy. You already know that. It's not healthy, and it's not for you to do. Because the thing is when you pray for people, you have to pray for them and allow them to connect with with God, with their source. So your job is to connect them. That is really what your job is. So you're supposed to do that, but you're not supposed to take on their shit. Because half the time, I'm telling you, people will ask you to pray for them, and then they won't pray for themselves. They'll throw all that stuff on you, and it's not your stuff.
Yes, and then blame me for, and I'm like, it's almost like, how like you're blamed. Like I had like a daughter of mine, she's going through it right now, and she got into drug addiction because of me losing custody of her. The people that were taking care of her didn't give her the love that I always gave her. I've always gave her extra love, extra attention. And when she didn't get that from where the placement that she was in, when she came home, I tried to heal her, but she turned around and just blamed me for everything. And it just broke my spirit, because I just, knowing the, the love and the strength that I pour into people, it's just like, I was like, okay, I didn't understand it, but it's so much when people see you as the problem and not the solution. Like I've always wanted to be the solution, not the problem. I'm a Libra, I'm a Libra. I'm a life path 11. I am a Cancer moon and a rising Scorpio, where I'm very emotional, but I'm also trying to be, loving and compassionate, and just bring balance, bring, like if there's a problem, I feel like there's a solution for it. And I'm always trying to mediate and resolve that, but it became a problem when, people are just, they see you as the problem and not the solution. And it's just like, I'm not, I'm like, it just, me just trying to be myself. And I felt like when I was trying to be myself, like someone mentioned before, of me not being able to have my voice. I've always, every time I was speaking on what I knew and knowing where it was coming from, even if it was from the higher power, I was basically silenced. I feel like I've always been silenced, to where this is why I don't recognize my own voice. I hear the voice of everyone else and not my voice, not the voice of God, not the voice of the angels. I'm just hearing everyone else's, the negative, So you guys, everyone in this room tonight was so right on point of just, like, wow, I'm just like, oh my God.
So you got to start giving yourself the love that you give other people.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
Okay.
So start doing things that you enjoy more. as you
Mhm.
can, you know.
Yes.
If you like, I mean, really, you could probably deal with some inner child work. So if you know, look at some things that you enjoy, like I can use myself as an example. I love to do secret words. So sometimes I just pull them out and do them.
Wait, what is it?
Secret words, you know, where you find the word.
Oh, word search. Oh, yes.
Yeah, word search. Yeah, I forgot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those. Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to.
So I mean, if it's just things that you know that you used to do or that you like to do. Like one day I bought some jacks because I used to like to play jacks. And so
Mhm.
I went to the Dollar Tree and bought a thing of jacks and I sat down one day and just did that. You know, so find things that you enjoy, you know, that help you, that ground you, because those are the things that do that. Like if you need to go out and walk, you know, outside, or if you need to go near the water, you know, whatever type of things that you enjoy, you need to start doing more of that and giving yourself the love that you love to give other people,
Mhm.
because that is going to be key for you. That's going to help you to shift in all of those areas. And stop listening to all those other people. Just listen to yourself. Listen to God, source, universe, and you.
Okay.
Be your own guru. I mean, not to say, you know, not to listen to other people, because, you know, we all listen to YouTube and all that different videos and different stuff, you know, books and all that kind of thing. But what I'm saying is follow your guidance. Follow the guidance that you get from your higher self, from the Holy Spirit, from the God of your own understanding.
Thank you. I feel like you guys helped me to remember the parts of myself. Like, you know how when you go through trauma, like I feel like I lost a lot of my memory of
Oh
who I was.
yeah.
I feel like I thought I had like amnesia, like dementia or something. Like I was like, why can't I remember anything anymore? Like it just like almost like it just went completely numb, completely blank. So just being here tonight, it just helped me to remember a lot of things that I've just forgotten,
Yeah.
because you're so busy trying to survive. I've been in like
Yes.
survive. I'm just trying to survive. I'm just trying to make it. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, but I enjoyed like music and dancing and drawing. I love landscaping. I love, things like that. Anything that just brings peace. It just brings me to a place of peace and it
Yes.
keeps calm. Anything that keeps me calm, anything that brings just like beauty and healing in some way.
Yes.
Poetry, I write poems, I write music.
Yes.
Um,
All of
I
that.
love yes, I love to sing.
Well, I
Even though I
followed you
can't.
on TikTok, so I'll be watching.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
worries.
And
Thank
I love
you.
and I love that you're sharing all this in present tense, that you do these things.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I actually there was a song that I was trying to write and it was a powerful song. I want to share this with you guys. It's funny but not funny, but there was a guy on YouTube that was doing reviews of people's music and I sent him my song. I paid $20 for him to play it, to listen to it. And he said to me, this is too positive for us. He said, I want to hear you shooting and, negative stuff. He said, this is a Christian house. He said, but I want to hear you shooting and stuff like that. And I just looked at him and I was like, I'm glad he said that because I said, you know what? It just reminds me by him just saying this is too positive, it let me know that the positivity of the music, whatever it was that I written, he didn't like it. And it just showed me, it just revealed to me the negativity that people, they don't want positive, they want negative. But I said to myself, I had a vision to work on that song, to keep writing it because it had a powerful message. And it's so funny because the song was actually, I was saying, I'm a life path 11, a wounded healer. I was saying, how did I write it? I said, life path 11, time for wounded healing. Trust this isn't easy, but this is what I'm feeling. And I like the way I was writing, I was saying that I wanted to basically make a change in the world and stop the killings, like stop the shooting and the kill, like all the corruption and the negative and the evil that was in the world. And it was a very divine spiritual song that I wrote. So I'm gonna try to share it with you guys so you can hear it and see. But he didn't like it. And I was like, I felt like it was something with that. And that's what I want to continue to do. I want to continue to write and put the message out there and drive out the negative forces, the evil forces that's corrupting the mind, the body, and the spirit. Because my children, I wrote in there that it's my children's life, their future. That's what I cherish, because I'll have to send it to you guys and you hear it. You're gonna be like, you can tell me, there, but that's what I like to do. That's what I want to do.
We would love to hear it. And
Thank you.
Angie wants to share a little more with you too. Go ahead, Angie.
Okay.
Just really quick, I know you've had a lot of information, but I have a message that keeps pounding at me from spirits that I have to tell you.
Okay.
But you knew at a very young age your power. You knew you had a connection to this energy, to this love, and then you let society tell you that you had no right to that power. Christianity, religion, whatever it was that told you you have no right to that power. And you talk a lot about children and the evil of the world and how you feel like people are coming at you. And what happened when people were betraying you, at some point you started to let your environment program you that everybody's betraying you. And that is what you saw. And so you have to start to reprogram yourself spiritually and psychologically. And what Tammy said, looking in the mirror and sitting there daily and say, I know my power. I trust my intuition. And you say in a present tense and you tell yourself daily, because it takes 30 to 45 days for you to reprogram yourself psychologically. Spiritually, you're going to do that through meditation and through feeling your energetic power that you have, that you know is yours. And what I'm called to tell you is that the beauty of being a co-creator is that your world will literally change by your own perception. So as you start to feel your own power, you start to feel that love, you start to feel the connection and the beauty that is coming within you, your perception of the world around you will change, and you will quite literally have a different reality in front of you. And your kids will not seem like they are always in danger, and that you will not seem like you're always being betrayed, because there will be another perception that will change your reality in front of you, very real reality. So with that, I know you have a lot of information in front of you, but later think about that. And when you start to energetically, spiritually, psychologically change and reprogram yourself, remember that as that co-creator, you have that very intentional power to change your own perception. And it is up to you to do that.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I think that is one bit, like you said about the perception. I think that is exactly what happened, that as a child, I saw life in a beautiful way. I've always just looked to the light, I felt this spiritual connection, like this protection of the world when I was younger. And as I got older and I started to experience and see really bad things happen, it changed my perception, and it made me look at life in this very dark way and not the light way that I saw it. And the experiences that I've gone through with racism, of being biracial, and my children being from their father from another country, him being Muslim and me believing in, different, like just all these different walks of life that I've gone through. It's like I felt like I had to fight in every situation, to where it changed my perception, and I started to see things differently. Even when I tried to see it the way I used to see it, it just wasn't there. But the visions that I have when I'm sleeping, before I wake, I get premonitions. And I think those also change my perception of what I'm seeing when I'm sleeping and then when I'm awake. So I would see stuff in my vision, and then it would happen a couple days later, a week later, months later, or years later. And I felt like that's what started to really take a toll on how I see things, because it's like I would have visions of just things happening, and I'm like, oh my God, me trying to run around and try to prevent it from happening, or things like that. I do keep a dream log, and I've had a lot of visions come true, to where some of them it would happen but not the way that I saw it, but it would have some sort of truth to it. But I did have a vision that the heavens opened up at one time and this lady appeared before me. It looked like an angel. She had all these angels behind her. It looked like the heavens. And she tried to hand me a box. And I was like, I can't take that. And she goes, I know you're not ready. So, it was like just these visions that I would get. Like I missed those visions that I would have, that these angels would come and talk to me. I had spirit guides come and talking to me, to where now I'm getting more of the spirits from that have passed. It's just more so, and the mockery, or the like, just this death, always death. So I started looking at life as death instead of life. I started just looking at it like everything is dying, everything is just ending, nothing is. And I didn't used to see life that way. I always saw the light in a dark situation, and now it kind of changed my perception of just seeing the dark in every light situation. And I'm trying to get back there, because it's really conflicting me of like, I feel like I'm running out of time, where I'm like, I was supposed to do something. And it's like, I just keep hearing like, it's too late, it's too late, it's too late.
And I want to encourage you, it is not too late. It is not too late. Not at all. You are waking up at a time that many of us wake up. You are right on time. And you are still connected to that person from your dream. You still can feel the energetic connection, and you can let her know now, if you want, if you're ready, I'm ready for that box.
Yes, yes.
And you have to remember, dreams are resonance. So whatever we're feeling in our waking life, we're going to go into, and I believe that we go into a different reality, like the multiverse, I believe is real. And when we have this resonance of what we're feeling, the fear, we're going to go into that same kind of resonance when we dream. I did very much. And when I realized that resonance was different, that I was actually connected to everything, those dreams faded away and I started to have different dreams. And then I started to dream in like colors and emotions and feelings and things that are kind of exhausting when you wake up. You don't feel like you had a good night rest, but it came in everything so much more energetic, like a vibration. I started to dream in vibration and energy, and it's really hard to explain, but it's nothing I've ever done before. And it's all in a resonance of what you're feeling in your waking life. So when you change your waking life perception, I guarantee those will change too. Everything changes. Your reality literally will change. It's quite amazing. And that is the beauty of being the co-creator.
Wow, thank you. I'm complete, you guys. I feel like I'm gonna have to process. This is a lot, but you guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. And I'm looking at 777 right now. I don't know what that means. I don't know if anyone knows what that means, but it just 777 popped up. But I had two messengers that had came to me in vision. So I know that there's definitely, something there. I just feel like there's just been something trying to stop me from what it is I've been trying to do, these distractions, these trying to pull me in a different direction, because I felt like there's this big thing that I'm supposed to do, and I just been trying to connect with the right people. And I had a vision that my grandmother also, she was doing voodoo. She did voodoo in the past. And I had a vision that told me, it said, that it was like God was speaking to me. He said, your grandmother had the same gift, but she used it for bad. So he gave the gift to me. Now my grandmother still had her gift, but she had to learn that voodoo it's not okay. It's not okay to put curses and things on people. And she would always, do that, where I was trying to break the generational curses within my family. Even if I grew up in foster care, I had knowledge of who my family was and what they did and how they, how they were showing up in the world.
You're explaining ancestral healing. That's exactly what you're explaining. And that's amazing that you're doing that, or you even know what that is. And as you heal now, you're healing your children. And that is also generational healing, all by what you're doing right now.
Thank you. That's I feel like that's the biggest thing with me, is just to break that curse, to show my children and lead them the right way. And sometimes I find myself almost like conforming to the wrong way, or picking up habits and things that I'm like, no, no, no. And I'll beat myself up over it. Like, don't do that. Like, don't do that. Like, don't. And I try to, stay on the right path so that my children can I don't repeat that cycle, because I feel like if I fail, they're gonna fail, you know.
And I want to encourage
So
you that the more gentle you can be of yourself, the more loving you can be of yourself, particularly in those moments when it comes up that you want to blame yourself or shame yourself or tell yourself you're wrong. The more you can be gentle and love yourself right then. That's the thing to
wow.
do.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, light workers. Thank you, beautiful. I will donate to as much as I can. I will definitely, like, y'all don't know how much I appreciate this right now. And I thank my friend for bringing me in here. I don't even know how this happened. I mean, I know, but it's like, I'm just so, this is definitely powerful. Yes. Like, y'all don't even know the, oh my gosh. Like,
That's
you all are very gifted, and just like, that is just so beautiful. Like, my father used to tell me, you're not supposed to, you know, even though I didn't have a really relationship with him, he used to tell me, we're not supposed to talk about these things. You're not supposed to mention your gifts and things like that. And when I seen people showing up and showing their gifts, and I saw there was a woman that was very powerful that I met when I was 14. And the way how she showed me how to exercise the gifts was that she was powerful, that she had this power, that no one was above her, that she was, you know, a powerful woman. And as I got older and I met with her 20 years later, I kept asking her to help me, but she wouldn't help me. And I ended up helping her. She ended up coming to me for help. And I didn't understand, but I realized, like, I'm not here to overpower anyone. I want to empower. I have this vision to empower women, empower everyone to have their own voice, to have to feel safe in their own skin, to feel free and not feel, you know, not feel like a caged bird, but like an eagle, to fly. I used to have visions that I would tap on the ground 3 times and I was able to fly over everything. And I feel like that in life. I'm always trying to fly above everything that's going on, to protect myself so that I can continue to do what I've been created to do, so I can serve in the way I need to serve, and also help other people to show them how they can serve, you know. So I thank you guys for helping me to, oh my God, I thank y'all so much. Thank you guys.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for receiving from your friend and trusting your friend and coming and being willing to share and being vulnerable. Thank you for letting us support you and reach so many as a result.
Thank you. And will there be a replay or like a recording where I can, because I know it's
Yes.
a lot to, I know it's a lot to process, and I'm gonna have to process it. And thank you so much, ladies. Thank you, everyone in the chat. I don't want to take up, I feel like I took up way too much time, and I don't.
You're hugely of service in your share. Thank you so much. And yes, there's a recording. MeWe Fairs is on YouTube, and I'll go put the link in the chat right now. I have to get myself down to fast internet and upload it, but yeah, it is. It's going to be right there. All right. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Yes, thank you, ladies. You guys are so amazing. Oh my gosh. I hope my children also, they, you know, I want them to experience this and know they're also gifted. So hopefully they'll be doing the same thing you ladies are doing.
Well, hope you continue to demonstrate who you are to them. So we'll see you up here sometime. All right.
Yes, I would love to do that. I would love to be able to do this. I don't have the courage yet, but
Well,
I
so we
will
have
hopefully.
yes, we have practice circles. We have the next one on Sunday, April 30, where you practice with peers. And we have a training panel tomorrow where new practitioners that are new of a certain new with a new modality, or they're new being online, or they're new on the stage, they answer questions from the audience for half price. So that's coming up tomorrow too. And yeah. And let's have all the rest of all the practitioners that are here share again about themselves. I'll put their information in the chat again. They're all offering specials if anyone wants to work with them privately after tonight. Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. Your questions and your responses back and forth have been hugely of service to many people. Thank you for letting us be of service to you and support you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right.
You're
practitioners.
welcome, everyone.
Okay, let's go around in the same order we were in before. I think we had Angie, Tammy, DoveLight. Was it TJ and Brooke, I think? Oh, Angie.
I am Angie from Universal Restorative Energy, and I am an intuitive guide, intuitive psychic, and I love to teach others how to manifest, the mechanisms of manifesting, and how we have so much more control over our environment and over our lives than we really give ourselves credit for. And it's instant. The energy is instant. As we change our perceptions, the reality changes in front of us instantly. It's nothing you have to wait for. It's so powerful. And I'm so excited to help people and intuitively, psychically help them through your problems and the shadow work that all of us need to do to become feeling this, let go of this unworthiness that we all have, that we do not have this power within us. And through shadow work and through understanding the traumatic events we've gone through, we find that worthiness and we find our power and we start creating intentionally. I'm also I have a deal. If you mentioned this, this meeting is $45 for 30 minutes intuitively guided session with you. But I'm also very excited to announce, and I know I've been doing this through chat, but I'm going to take a second to say it. Through the fairs, I've noticed such a need for talking like this. So I've started a breaking free from religion discussion that's going to happen the first Sunday of every month at 2:00 online. The first one will be April 30th because of scheduling conflict, but that's also a Sunday at 2 p.m. And I just really encourage anybody who is interested to put your email in the chat, or you can email me at Angie@universalrestorativeenergy.com. And we'll just explore all these feelings, emotions, confusion, all of the trauma and everything that encompasses the subject of religion. So thank you for letting us share. And my website is www.universalrestorativeenergy.com. Thank you.
Thanks, Angie. Tammy.
Hey, it's Tammy Morrison. I'm a spiritual teacher, and mentor, intuitive healer. One of the things that I love to do is this right here, help people that are coming from religion to understand that they're not crazy, to get out of their own way, and to help them learn how to connect to their soul and their spirit team. Because a lot of times, especially when we come from religion, they have kept all of that stuff from us, and they have made us so small. And so my mission is to help people to understand that they have a limitless version of themselves and they can tap into that and, actually really get free from so many things that they're not free from, so many things that keep them bound and keep them stuck. And I also do DNA activation, which is another tool that I believe helps people to get out from being stuck and, allow the gifts to start flowing through and all of these other kind of good things that happen with that process. You can Google me. I'm everywhere. My website is under construction, so you can find me on Google and you can go wherever it takes you. Because I have YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, Rumble now, I think, and some other stuff. I'm all over everywhere. And I have also a podcast straight out of Savannah where I'm always interviewing people that are changing the planet, especially people in the field of intuition, because the conversation always gets there. So if that is you and you'd like to join me, send me a message. All of my details are in the chat. I also have a special for this as well. And it's also in the chat also. So if that is something that you are looking for, if you are wanting to expand the conversation in any way that you can, like I said, I love to do healing chats. And that is one of the things that I also do on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I am on live Tuesdays and Thursdays on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So you can find me there as well.
Thank you so much. All right, DoveLight's next.
Todo cura, todo sana, todo tiene medicina dentro. Cura, cura, sana, sana, todo tiene medicina dentro. Hey. Everything cures, everything heals, everything has medicine inside.
Good night, everybody. I'm DoveLight from DoveLightOracle.com. I'm offering a coupon of 20% off spring for my website, any session of choice. I'm just a regular person. Sometimes I cry, sometimes I laugh, sometimes I forget to eat on time, sometimes I forget to drink water. Then I remember, my body reminds me to do it again. I'm just a regular person like everybody else. But as a regular person, we all have a connection to the divine. And it's that divine love that's moving us forward at our own time, at our own way. So you know the deal, all my offerings are in my background. You can go to my website to see it. And I hope you have a wonderful night. Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much, DoveLight. Next, we have TJ, Tammy, and Brooke.
Tammy Joyful. And I love to share messages, healing, and guidance to encourage your own healing process to remember who you truly are and live an empowered life on this earth plane. I do healing sessions for transformational, multidimensional healing, where I help clear destructive energy and that's affecting people and infuse you with power and positive expression. So you're more able to heal yourself and further your own transformation in your own life. I want people to know, their true authentic self and to feel that gentle strength within and to live that empowered life that we're here to live. And I love to help people practice and pursue their own intuitive abilities and to access their own inner guidance, their own higher knowledge, their inner knowing. There's always more to learn. There's always more to discover. And my website's tammyjoyful.com. I'm Tammy Joyful on social media. My session special is $66 for an hour. Blessings to all. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being vulnerable. Have a great day. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Tammy. Brooke.
Thank you all so much for the heart-centered connectedness that we shared tonight, the love that we shared tonight, the healing that we shared tonight. I am Brooke, and I am an intuitive guide, a multidimensional energy healer, channel for the Divine Mother Collective, channeling the divine love of the Divine Mother Collective. And with the mission of resurrecting the divine feminine back into balance with the divine masculine on earth, and with the goal of helping everyone remember the truth of who they are. And my energy is that I work with is very earthly, very feminine, very motherly. And if this resonates with you, I invite you to come work with me. I have a 20% off any session on my website. I do focus on the end of the night, I'm tired, sorry. Inner child wounding, trauma, especially sexual and birth trauma, assisting families to consciously conceive and birth their children on this earth, second chakra healing, sacred womb healing. And I also am an emotion code practitioner as well. So you can check out my stuff on journeywithbrooke.com. Blessings.
I just put all the practitioners' information in the chat again as well. And if you haven't already, if you're willing to give, if you haven't already tonight, if you're willing to give us feedback, there's a form, there's a link to a form in the chat, and we'll put you in a drawing for a free 30-minute session with one of us of your choice. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. You can find out more about me at intuitiveeyereading.com, matchmakingsoulmates.com, and some of my upcoming drop-in sessions are in the chat. And you can learn more about all of the MeWe fairs that I run all the MeWe Fairs events that I run at mewefairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com. As I mentioned earlier, our next event is tomorrow at 3 to 5 p.m. We have our Anything and Everything training panel. I don't actually have someone helping me run it yet, so I need to make some reach outs today, but if anyone here wants to help run that too. We have practitioners that are new as practitioners, new with a modality, newer to being online or new to being on stage that want more practice, that will be answering questions from the audience, similar to the way we did tonight, except that it's a shorter panel and it's half price to ask a question because they're getting their legs. So thanks so much for being here in community and supporting all of us with your presence, asking questions, being spacious and holding space while others are getting answers. All right, I got someone to help run it with me. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll write you in a moment in the chat. Yeah, thanks so much everyone for being here and for sharing really powerful messages with so many. All right, get that recording off.